Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Um, Good afternoon. My name is Judge Jesse Lal, and I'm one of the judicial officers with State Court, and we will be covering this state expedited accusation calendar. So I do see some folks at the South Annex, and
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
just to cover some preliminaries, who is our litigation manager? Would that be?
It's going to be Holly Bridgewater, Judge.
All right.
She's logging in down in the courtroom.
All right. And is the courtroom available at the present time?
It is, Judge.
Courtroom too. Okay. Let's see. Why can't I pull it up? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, again, this is the state expedited accusation calendar, and we're going to be addressing the cases in which individuals have been recently accused with one or more misdemeanor offenses. When I address your case one-on-one, please remember your rights. The first one is the right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. So please let your appointed counsel represent you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one of our attorneys from the Public Defender's Office or a conflict defense counsel, if they are available today, they will be representing you, okay? If you're a witness or an observer, please make sure that you keep your panel on mute. Okay, South Annex, who are we addressing first?
Your Honor, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but if there's any way I can maybe have a breakout session with you and one of the public defenders, it's just one quick thing I would like to address, if at all possible. I know it's a strange request, but I think it will help.
Mr. Jordan, could you please place Mr. Walker, Ms. Wanda Gant, and myself in a breakout room, please?
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. We are resuming court and we're going to begin with South Annex. May I know who's at South Annex, please?
Position number 7, Ms. Clark.
All right, we have Maya Clark, case number 22 CR 003-740J. Ms. Clark has been accused of simple assault, domestic violence from a June 11th, 2022 incident. Ms. Clark, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Wanda Gant. Is it Ms. Gant? Yeah, all right.
Sure.
So, Ms. Jackson, any priors on Ms. Clark?
The defendant has one cycle. The defendant's last arrest was February the 5th, 2021 in Fulton County for simple battery family violence. There was no disposition for that arrest, and there are no convictions listed in the GCIC.
All right, thank you. Ms. Harmon, good afternoon. What
Good
is your recommendation?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Our recommendation in this case is a $1,500 surety bond, no further contact with the victim in the case, Andre Williams, who is the cross defendant in this case, Your Honor. I'm sorry, this computer. Stay away from the incident location, and I'll give that to you in a second. A one-day anger awareness course, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a third-party transfer of any children. As you know, Your Honor, this happened. I apologize, Your Honor. My computer is doing something crazy.
Okay.
Give me one moment. In the area of Oakley Industrial Road and Senia Road, that's Senia Road, that's SENIA Road. The defendant is accused, as you know, she threw a bag at him, at Mr. Williams, who is her child's father. And he was afraid that he was going to be injured. She nearly missed him with the bag. They do share a child together. We looked at the incident closely, Your Honor, and she appears to be the primary aggressor. In that previous arrest, that looks like that was a simple battery family violence with another victim, but it looks like she went to pretrial diversion, and that's why we don't see a disposition. And that looks like that was completed in August of 2021. Because she does have that previous incident of violence, even though there is no conviction, then she appears to be the primary aggressor from this incident, Your Honor, as she followed the defendant as he was moving down in that area. That's the basis of our recommendation for her to have the $1,500 surety bond, the no further contact with him, stay away from the incident, the one-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a third-party transfer of their child. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Maya Clark is 24 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 10 years. She shares a 4-year-old son with the complaining witness, Mr. Andre Williams. She also has additional family in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Your Honor, we are opposed to the stay away at the incident. Well, not the incident location, but we are opposed to any stayaways. As I understand that the complaining witness and my client live together. Her name and her mother's name are both on the lease. I have not had the occasion to contact Mr. Williams as he is incarcerated. However, my client informs me that she would like to continue having contact with Mr. Williams. Ms. Clark completed high school. She also has an associate's in pre-nursing. She is certified as a medical assistant, but right now, Your Honor, she is unemployed. She states that she is waiting to take a certification examination. Once she passes that examination, she has employment that is waiting. Your Honor, my client denies the allegations, and I would just bring to the court's attention that my client does not have any prior convictions whatsoever for violence. I would also bring to the court's attention that my client actually had visible injuries. Your Honor, she denies these allegations strongly. She is recommended for a signature bond. Therefore, I am requesting a signature bond on Ms. Clark's behalf. And again, we are opposed to the no contact and stay away orders and would ask Your Honor for a no violent contact order. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, just 1 second, please. Gosh, this is taking a long time. Okay. I'm trying to look up her prior case. Ms. Jackson, do you have a disposition on her prior charge for simple battery?
And Your Honor, if I may, according to my research and honesty, that was a no pros.
Okay,
Your Honor, I think it says completed diversion successfully. So she went to, it appears that she went to pretrial diversion on that.
okay.
And then it was no cross.
Okay, bond's gonna be set at 1,500. It's gonna be a signature bond through pretrial services. She will report to pretrial once a month. She will complete, well, she did pretrial diversion, but apparently that's not going very well. So we're gonna try a 1-day anger awareness to pretrial services. No further contact with Andre Williams. She can return to the home where she's got a lease with her and her mother, but Mr. Williams will have to find alternative housing. No contact with Mr. Williams. She's to stay 200 yards away from him. Do not communicate with him in any way, form, or manner. If they have any plans to share the 4-year-old child, Mr. Williams will file a legitimation action, and they will have contact, visitation, and custody pursuant to the legitimation court order. Ms. Clark is not to possess any weapons, not to consume any illegal drugs, and no alcohol consumption. She will be subject to random screens. Next court date will be sent to her at her address, which at the present time, I have.
Well,
sorry.
she's gonna be reset further notice. I'm sorry. Good afternoon,
Good
everybody.
afternoon, Ms. Bridgewater. Yes, she's going to be further notice. And if, for the other cases, if they get a bond, what would be the reset date?
All cases that get a bond, well, let's put it this way. The reset date for SAP is gonna be June the 28th.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Mhm.
In this particular case, it is a signature bond through pretrial and
She will be
address
further
is-
notice.
yeah, it'll be further notice. I've got an Oakley Industrial Boulevard. Is that correct address, Ms. Gant?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Please explain to her that she is to maintain no contact with Mr. Williams, and any visitation with the regards to the child has to be done through Superior Court. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Next, we have position number 3, Your Honor.
Mhm. I have Raina Bercier, case number 22 CR 003-729Y, accused of battery, domestic violence from June 11th, 2022. Ms. Bercier, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Wanda Gant. Any priors, Ms. Jackson?
I apologize. Just a moment, please, Your Honor.
Come on.
I apologize to the courts. I misplaced my glasses, so please
No,
bear with me.
I totally understand.
The defendant has 22 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was October the 11th, 2020 for harassment. And that was out of Washington, DC. It was Kent County, Washington. That case appeared to be still pending. The defendant also appeared to have an outstanding hold out of Seattle, Washington for a failure to appear. The date on that warrant is April the 21st, 2022. The defendant has one felony conviction. It's in 2013 out of Washington for burglary in the second degree. The defendant does have misdemeanor convictions. One in 2013 for simple assault, one in 2012 for driving while license suspended or revoked, one in 2011, it says render criminal assault, and one in 2013 out of Washington for assault as well, and one in 2011 for assault. and one in 2012 for drugs possession.
That's good. That's good. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Appreciate it. Thank you. Ms. Harmon?
Yes, Your Honor. A recommendation in this case is a $2,500 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, and I'm going to spell his name for the record. It's Henok, Henok, Gerber Michael, Gebremichael. We would ask that she would be ordered to stay away from 3400 Stratford Road in Atlanta. We would also ask if she would be ordered to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, a one-day anger awareness, and a third-party transfer of any children. Your Honor, she's accused of scratching the upper chest of the victim, leaving discolored red scratches on his chest.
Oh, I've read the warrant and the ticket. So they share children as far as you know, or you're not
Yes,
certain?
as far as I can tell, Your Honor, they do have a child together. I think because of the history that you heard from pretrial with the multiple simple assaults in another state, and the fact that she does have an FTA out of another state, that's the basis of our recommendation. We do believe that she does present a risk to reoffend, and that she does present a flight risk, a risk of not returning to the court based on what we've heard history-wise and just the nature of the incident. So that's the basis of our recommendation in this case, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Raina Bercier is 30 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 2 years. She has family here, including a 4-year-old that she shares with Mr. Henok Gebremichael, the complaining witness. She also has a 10-year-old daughter. She is the primary caretaker of both children. She's not receiving child support, and both her children are in fact enrolled in school in the Atlanta, Georgia area. Your Honor, we are opposed to the stay away at the incident location. My client informs me that she and the complaining witness both live there. It is his mom's residence, Your Honor. She does not have an alternate address. Ms. Bercia obtained a GED. She is currently in school studying to be an esthetician. She is about 1 class away. She is unemployed. She does not have the means to pay much toward anything, toward bond. Your Honor, my client denies the allegations. Your Honor, she is presumed innocent at this point. I acknowledge my client's history. However, the assault convictions, I believe, are remote. We heard about things back in 2013. She has that hold. I would ask that Your Honor consider a signature bond so that she may be released to that hold. Lastly, we are opposed again to the stay away. I would ask for a no violent contact order and a signature bond. If Your Honor determines that she is ineligible, then a bond of no more than $1,000, as she will not have the means to pay much, if anything, toward bond, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Bond is set at $2,000. It is a surety bond. The next court date is June 28th, 2022. She makes bond, she will have to update the court with her new address. She will stay away from the Stratford Road location. She will be allowed to have third-party transfer of the children. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. And if Ms. Bercier does make bond also, she will have to make sure that she has no further contact with Mr. Gebremichael. That's Holly, do you have his name? Do you need me to spell it out? Ms. Bridgewater?
I have his name. He's
All right.
position number 11, so I know how to spell it. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Mhm.
She should have no further contact with Mr. Gebremichael. And we will see her in court on June 28th. Thank you.
And Your Honor, if I may clarify regarding third-party transfer, she is the primary custodian of both children, Your Honor.
All right, then she may return to the location one time only to retrieve her belongings as well as her children.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I represent Mr. Gebremichael.
Mhm.
And I have spoken to him. They have been raising these two children together for the past 7 years, Your Honor. He has told me that it was a total misunderstanding. He does want contact. He wants them to continue to live together. They are a family, Your Honor. He says there's never been any violence between them and that someone else called the police. They were just having an argument.
I understand that, Ms. McLeod, but that's an argument for a demurrer motion or a subsequent hearing, but this is not the juncture to have that argument. Thank you. All right,
Thank you.
moving on.
Position number 8, Your Honor.
We have Rashima Dehart. Ms. Dehart has been accused
And
of, yes,
Your Honor, will we be able to move to a different position?
this case has not been accused yet.
It's been accused as, I'm just still working on the presentation.
No, we'll carry on. Thank you. Rashima Dehart, case number 22 CR 003-756A. Ms. Dehart has been accused of hit and run, failure of the driver to return to the scene of the accident, and improper or erratic lane change from a June 6, 2022 incident. Ms. Dehart, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Gant. Ms. Jackson, any priors on Ms. Dehart?
Just a moment, please, Your Honor. Just a reminder, I can't see very well, so
Oh, you haven't
Please
found your
go.
glasses yet?
I have no idea where my glasses are.
Maybe they're on the ground. That's where mine always end up.
Oh, wow, I hope not. I apologize, Your Honor, but I do not have a Rashima Dehart.
That's all right.
If we
No,
could
that's
come
okay.
back to her.
No, we're good. Thank you.
She's position number 8.
Yeah, she is. Do you have it?
I don't have Rashima Dehart.
All right, that's fine. Ms. Harmon, do you have priors?
Your Honor, can you repeat that, please?
Do you have her GCIC priors, if any, or her motor vehicle record?
Yes, I do, and I'm just pulling it up now, just
Okay.
looking to see if it's the same person, because I'm seeing a different name.
I have a warrant for Rashima Dehart.
Right, and the name I'm seeing on GCRC is Neely, Rashima Neely. So I'm assuming that that's the same person.
It is. It's in an alias, so you can proceed with it.
All right.
Ms. Harmon.
Your Honor, as far as I can tell from the history, it looks like she had in 2021 a theft by shoplifting, which was first offender. And that would have been with probation of 5 years. A 2019 theft by shoplifting conviction. It looks like it looks like it's a 2018 FTA on her record.
Do you know if that was for a traffic matter or a non-traffic
This
matter?
looks like it was, it actually doesn't say, but this one, but there's another one in 2019, an FTA for a theft by shoplifting offense.
All right,
And
that's
then,
good. That's good. What's your bond recommendation for the hit and run and the improper lane change?
On the hit and run, we would ask for a $3,000 surety bond. On the improper lane change, we would ask for a $1,000 surety bond. no driving without a valid license, and no further contact with the victim, whose name is,
Kimberly Shumway?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank
And
you.
the basis for that is, Your Honor, because if, according to the warrant, which I understand that you read, but we would just like to put it on the record, it looks like she was on 285 and she collided with Ms. Shummer's vehicle. And then they did pull over, and it looks like they had got into some type of confrontation. And there was some damage to Ms. Shummer's vehicle, and the defendant did pull off before exchanging any information with the victim in this case. Based on the FTAs and based on what we've heard as far as the incident is concerned, that's the basis of the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Rashima Dehart is 31 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 4 years. She is the proud mother of 2 children, ages 6 and 7. She is the primary caretaker, Your Honor. Your Honor, Ms. Dehart is a high school graduate. She also has a 2-year pharmacy technician certification. She is currently working as a host for Airbnb properties. Your Honor, my client denies the allegation. She states that in fact it was the complaining witness, Ms. Shumway, who was mad, yelling and cursing at her. We did not hear about any driving offenses, and Your Honor, I believe that the FTAs are remote. Therefore, I am requesting a signature bond on Ms. Dehart's behalf. If Your Honor determines that she is ineligible, then I would ask for a bond of no more than $1,500. That would be $1,000 for the driving hit and run and $500 for the driving improper lane change. Thank you.
And Your Honor, the FTAs are from 2019 and 2018, so they're not really that remote.
Understood. Thank you. On the driving hit and run, that's going to be $1,000 surety bond. On the improper erratic lane change, it's going to be a $500 surety bond. Total bond is $1,500. It is a surety bond. Her next court date is June 28th. No further driving unless she's got a valid driver's license attached to a person at all times, a proper registration for the vehicle, and adequate automobile insurance. The next court date is June 28th. Oh, sorry. And also no further contact with Kimberly Shumway unless she is contacting Ms. Shumway through counsel or through an insurance company. But she herself personally cannot contact Ms. Kimberly Shumway. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That'll be all for South Annex, Your Honor. May we be excused?
Yes, thank you very much. Y'all have a
Thank
good afternoon.
You too, ma'am.
All right, we are addressing courtroom number 2. Good afternoon. My name is Judge Law, and we'll be addressing cases that have been brought to the Fulton County Jail in which individuals were charged with one or more misdemeanor criminal offenses. When we're going to be addressing each case on a one-on-one basis, so please remember your rights. The first one is the right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of your case during the course of this virtual proceeding, your statements will not only be recorded, but they will also be used against you. You have a right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to represent you. Most, if not all of you, have already had a chance to speak to an attorney. So we will have counsel from either the Public Defender's Office or Conflict Defense to represent you. Courtroom 2, who do we have first?
Good afternoon, Judge Love. This is position 18, Mr. Love.
Okay. I have Mr. Mondrit, 18, excuse me, I took one page too fast. There we go. All right. Did you say 8? Okay, found it. Sorry about that. Mr. Randy Love is accused of simple battery, theft by taking. I'm sorry, he's charged with simple battery and 3 counts of theft by taking. Mr. Love, this is for an incident that allegedly occurred on March 15, 2020. Please remember that you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Miss Gant or Miss Kim or Miss Cook.
Will be Miss Cook, Your Honor.
All right, Miss Cook, are you representing Mr. Love?
Is that?
I'm sorry, Ms. Cook, are you representing Mr. Love? I just want to be sure. Oh, I don't have audio with you. Please make sure that you connect your Zoom to either your microphone or.
He said we got 3 updates.
Matthew said he did them already. Oh, he been put already?
All right, Ms. Cook, can you hear us? You can hear us, but can you give me a 1, 2, 3 or testing? No sound. Okay. Look at your audio settings. Oops. We've lost Ms. Cook, or is she attempting to connect? Mr. Misha Cook?
She's logging on now, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Cook, we still do not have audio. So, Ms. Gant, do you have any clients in courtroom 2? Ms. Cook would need to either, Ms. Cook, do you want to do a testing 1, 2, 3? No audio, okay. Ms. Kim or Ms. Gant, do you have any clients in courtroom 2 that we can take up right now? Oh, Ms. Cook is going to Ms.
I can
Gant's
do.
office, okay. Ms. Kim, do you have any individuals in courtroom 2?
I can do anybody from 4 to 6, 13, 19, 20, 26, 30.
All right, you said 4. Is Carrie Caldwell in the courtroom?
Who you
Carrie?
looking for, Judge?
Carrie Caldwell, position 4.
Caldwell? Yes, he's here.
All right, let's handle him first, and Ms. Cook will get her audio corrected. All right, we have Carrie, have a seat, Mr. Caldwell. We have Carrie Darrell Caldwell, accused of battery, domestic violence from June 12, 2022. Mr. Caldwell, your case number is 22 CR 003-737G. In this particular case, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. J. Kim. Ms. Bridgewater, hopefully we may get a GCIC for Mr. Caldwell. He's position number 4.
I do have that one, Your Honor.
Yes.
That one, I'm sorry, the defendant has 22 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was March the 11th, 2022 for possession of Schedule II controlled substance. And that was with the intent to distribute. That was in DeKalb County. And there's no disposition for that arrest. The defendant does have prior felony convictions, one in 2007 for fleeing or attempting to elude an officer, and possession of controlled substance, one in 2005 for possession of controlled substance. And the defendant does have misdemeanor convictions, one in 2019 for theft by taking, one in 2016 for the violation of a family violence order, and an additional one in 2016 for criminal trespassing. The defendant received a nolo contendory sentence in 2013 for obstruction of an officer and marijuana possession less than an ounce. And there was one in 2011 for obstruction of an officer. And there was an additional one in 2013. The defendant received a simple battery. No, I apologize, Your Honor. The defendant received a nolo contendere sentence for
Okay.
driving while license suspended or
Oh,
revoked.
that's good. Thank you so much. Ms. Harmon, we have Mr. Kerry Caldwell. What's the state's recommendation for him?
Our recommendation in this case, Your Honor, is a $3,000 surety bond. No further contact with the victim, Tacilia Boyd, TILLCIA BOYD, who is his present wife. Stay away from the incident location of 532 Cleveland Avenue Southwest. A one-day anger awareness course. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Your Honor, we do have the victim on the line and she is prepared to testify. We did speak to her this morning, and she indicated that she would not like any further contact with the defendant, and she does want him to stay away from the incident location long enough for her to get some of her belongings together. She said they got married 2 months ago. It was no previous violence, but after they got married, the violence began. The defendant is accused here in this case of grabbing her and pulling on her arms and pulling so hard that he left bruises on her arm. And Your Honor, and when I was reviewing the defendant's history, I found something that I don't think appeared on the GCIC, but a battery family violence conviction in 2014, 14 CR 007620, different victim. But I do think that that is something to consider, Your Honor, in that this defendant presents a strong danger to our victim in this case with that previous conviction. It does indicate that he has a risk to reoffend. And obviously, Your Honor, we'll be looking at this case for a felony transfer in the very near future. But those are the bases of our recommendation in this case. Nothing further.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Boyd or Mrs. Caldwell, I'm not sure how to address you. If you'd like to address the court, please unmute your screen and start your video.
Good morning. Well, good afternoon. I am Miss Caldwell. I want to say that I do love my husband, and I know we need separation right now. I just want to see if there's a way that I can ask the court to get him, like some what is it called? Recovery and anger management for a year. He doesn't deserve. He's a good person. He just his habit and his anger is the worst thing about him. But without those, he's perfect.
We would like to request our witness to testify only for whether she wants further continuance, contact.
Well, I think I already got the message. Thank you, Mrs. Caldwell. If you could mute your screen and remove your hand up signal, please. Thank you. All right, Ms. Kim, what is your recommendation for your client?
Yes, we would like to request for a signature on bond. He denies that there was no failure to appear. Things have been happening remotely. It has been done 2007. Even the one that solicitor is raising up right now is from 2014, which is 8 years ago. And he has been here in Georgia for almost about 41 years, and he has 9 minor children that he has to support right now. And he has been having a job for the last 3 years, and we would like to request for signature on bond. And yet, if your honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we would like to request for maximum $2,000 surety bond, your honor. Thank you.
Thank you. The state's request is granted. This is a $3,000 surety bond. No further contact with Tacilia Boyd, currently known as Tacilia Caldwell, to stay away from 532 Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia. No illegal drugs, no alcohol consumption, no weapons, and no firearms. His next court date is going to be June 28th. If he does make bond, the court is going to require him to enroll in a domestic violence intervention program at his expense within 60 days of being released. Within 30 days of being released, he must update the court with his new address. He's permitted to return to the marital home one time only with a police officer to retrieve his belongings. And that's the only time he's allowed to return to that home. He must make sure that a police officer accompanies him. After that, he's not to have any contact with Ms. Boyd or Ms. Caldwell. not in person, not through a third party, not through a phone, a computer device, and nothing on social media. Thank you.
Love. You're done.
Thank you.
Going back to position 18, Love.
Yes. All right, Mr. Love, you've been advised of your right to remain silent and the right to counsel. Your attorney is going to be Ms. Tamisha Cook. She is appearing on the Zoom through the panel which says Wanda Gant, but that is your attorney. Mr. Cook has been accused of simple battery and 3 counts of theft by taking from a March 15th, 2020 incident. Ms. Jackson, any priors, please?
The defendant has 19 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was June 23rd, 2019 for abandonment of a dependent child, and that was in Fulton County. The defendant does have a prior felony conviction. It's in 2002 for Terroristic Threats Act and criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. The defendant also has misdemeanor convictions. There's one in 2019 for driving without a valid license and one in 2008 for driving while license suspended or revoked, and one in 2005 for giving false information to an officer. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Harmon, or is it Ms. Brown?
Ms. Brown, yes, Judge. The recommendation on this case is 4,000 surety bond, 2,500 on that simple battery, and 5 on each of the theft by taking. Primarily, the 2,500 on the simple battery, as you know from the warrant, Judge, he is accused of punching Echo Hood in the face and then proceeding to take her items, her cell phone, her sunglasses, and her car keys, all valued at less than $1,500, Judge. In addition to those 20 cycles that the pretrial mentioned, he also has some failure to appears on his record. As a result, Judge, he's a risk to reoffend. He's also a danger to the community, Judge, and he's also a flight risk. So that would be the basis for our request. And Judge, I also just would like to put on the record, given the date of the incident, which is 3/15/2020, pursuant to the orders issued by the Supreme Court, we have accused it and put in the tolling language that allows us to proceed on this matter, Judge.
All right, thank you. Ms. Cook?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Love is a 43-year-old man. He's lived in Georgia all of his life. So he does have significant ties to the area since he's been here his entire life. He's a high school graduate, currently self-employed. He owns a t-shirt business, Black Canary Apparel. What we're asking for and what I believe pretrial actually recommend, Your Honor, is an unsecured judicial release bond, so an OR bond. Again, the purpose of bond, Your Honor, as you are well aware, is to ensure that my client comes back to court and that he's not a risk to himself or the community. I think that if Your Honor would like to put a stay away from the victim in this case, that would be sufficient to cover that. And based on his limited means of income, Your Honor, we believe that an unsecured judicial release in this situation would be just.
Okay, thank you.
And Judge, if I may add, I don't think I stated, but no further contact with Echo Hood.
Yeah. So the warrant says they both live together and have for 2 years, but this is not a domestic violence case, so I'm not sure where we're going with this. But in the meantime, on the simple battery is going to be a $2,000 bond, and each count of theft by taking is $1,000. That's a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with Echo Hood. Of course, if Ms. Hood wants to have contact with Mr. Love, she would need to reach out to the victim advocate's office and see if the prosecution will file the appropriate motion. To stay away, the only address I have is 148 Allison Court in Atlanta, Georgia. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. And his next court date will be sent to us, will be sent to him at his current residential address. So since he has to stay away from Allison Court, he would have to update the court with his current residential address within 30 days of being released. Ms. Cook, do you have his current residential address where he receives mail?
Your Honor, if I could have a client conference and get back to you.
What kind of conference do you want?
A conference with the client so I can provide you that information. I do not currently
Okay.
have it.
All right. Well, we've got so many cases. Courtroom 2, if the deputy could take down Mr. Love's current mailing and residential address, we can then forward that to Holly Bridgewater.
Or Your Honor, she could put it in the chat.
Yeah, put in
Either
the
or.
chat. Yeah, put in the chat to Holly Bridgewater, and we'll make sure we update the system. All right. Thank you.
If you have a question, just raise your hand, let them know.
Yes, Mr. Love, what's your question?
I have a question. E. Cole is right here in the back right here with her hands raised.
Oh, okay.
Can you see her?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Make sure you give your current mailing address so we can send it to you, or your new address, because you won't be able to live with her until further order of the court. All right? Thank you.
What was the bond amount for the theft by taking?
1,000 on each count. So it's a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial.
All right, you're done. Position 11, Mr. Gerber Michael. You want the bond amount there? 5,000 SOB through pretrial.
SOB.
Through pretrial.
All right. Do we have Mr. Hanoch, Gabriel Michael at the front?
Yes, this is position number 11.
Got it. Thank you. Mr. Gabriel Michael's case number is 22 CR 003-745C, in which he's been accused of battery, domestic violence, with regards to an incident on June 11, 2022. Mr. Gabriel Michael is cross-defendant to position number 3, and that young lady would be Raina Bercier. All right. Mr. Gabriel Michael, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Maureen McLeod. Ms. Jackson, any priors on Mr. Gabriel Michael?
Defendant has 13 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was says June 7, 2022 for reckless conduct and criminal damage to property in the second degree and unauthorized discharge of a firearm within 50 yards of a public highway, in receipt, possession, or transfer of a firearm by a convicted felon or felony first offender. And that was with the City of Atlanta Police Department. That case appeared to be still pending, Your Honor. That case number is 22 CP 209-684. The defendant does have prior felony convictions out of Washington, D.C., one in 2014 for assault, and one in 2010 for possession of controlled substance, an additional one in 2010 for possession of a firearm during commission of a felony. Nothing in addition.
Thank you. Ms. Harmon?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
As you know, the incident location is the same from our previous defendant, and the date is the same. And in this case, as you know, Mr. Gerber Michael was accused to be pushing the apartment door against Miss Bercier. Yes. In that incident, to kind of keep her out of a room that she was trying to enter. Your Honor, our recommendation in this case is a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim in that case, Raina Bercier. We would ask that he would be ordered to stay away from the incident location, a one-day anger awareness, and a third-party transfer of any children. Strike that stay away. If that's his home, he doesn't have to stay away, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Because I've given her a stay away,
Right.
and she has to go with a police officer and retrieve the
Correct.
children. All right. Ms. McLeod?
Yes, Your Honor. My client is 33 years old. He is gainfully employed as an electrician. He has high school education and also some college. He tells me that he has been in a relationship with the cross-defendant for over 7 years. They are raising 2 young children together, a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old, Your Honor. They both lived with his mother. He tells me it's going to be a considerable hardship for him not to have contact with the cross-defendant because they are a couple and they've been raising these 2 children. It's going to be particularly hard on the children. We are not opposed to the prosecutor's recommendation in terms of bond, Your Honor, but we are just concerned for the children if the cross-defendant cannot have contact. So we would ask the court to consider that particular provision. He tells me that they were just having an argument and someone else unrelated to them, a neighbor or somebody, called the police. But he denies that there was any physical violence between the 2 of them.
In Your Honor, it looks like he sustained injuries as a part of that incident. So it had to be some type of physical violence. And if a neighbor has to call the police, that is indicative of the seriousness of the incident, that a third party would be so concerned that they would call the police. So that's our response in that regard, Your Honor.
You recommended a 25 or 3,000? I thought
it was 2, Your Honor.
2,000.
2,000, okay. It's a $2,000 surety bond. No further contact with Miss Raina Bercier. I do understand the 2 of them are raising the 2 children, but this altercation, given the nature of their prior criminal record history, Mr. Bercier is not permitted to have any contact with Mr. Gremichael is not permitted to have any contact with Ms. Bercier. He may return to the location at 3400 Stratford Road, Atlanta, Georgia, since it appears to be his mother's house. As we know, Ms. Bercier may be permitted to come there one time only to retrieve her belongings and the children. Yes, Mr. Gremichael.
Your Honor, it was actually in Washington State, not Washington, D.C.
Yeah, I noted that. Both of you have an interesting history out of Washington State. Right?
Yeah.
Mr. Gremichael, as I was saying, Ms. Bercier will be able to retrieve the children. And if you are not married to Ms. Bercier, you will have to file a legitimation action in the appropriate superior court of Fulton County or whichever appropriate county you want to file this action in order to establish paternity, visitation, and custody over the 2 children in question. Do you understand, sir? All right. Your next court date is June 28th. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 31, Wagner.
I have Jalen Wagner, case number 22 CR 0037318. Mr. Wagner has been accused of possession of a pistol by an individual under the age of 18 from June 11th, 2022. Mr. Wagner, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is going to be, is it Ms. Cook or Ms. Gant? Ms. Cook? All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Jackson, any priors on Mr. Wagner? Any adult issues?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Brown?
Yes, Judge. We are asking for a 3,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Because he is 17, Judge, we would ask for a curfew. As you know from the warrant, Judge, he was running, but he had a gun. He told the officer he basically was trying to hide a gun. Given that he's so young, Judge, he also has an arrest from his juvenile record.
Oh, we're not going to go there.
Your Honor, okay, thank you.
Sustain.
Judge, I would just state for the record that the law does allow us to touch on his juvenile record for the purposes of bond factors.
Unless you've sent it to me separately with the CC to counsel, I'm not going to put this in open court.
Understood, Judge. And so based upon that, Judge, that is our recommendation. Given that he is 17 and possessing weapons, we would ask for that surety. We would ask for no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Also a curfew, Judge. At this point, given that he was running from the officer, it's clear that he is a flight risk. And so we want to make sure that he will come back to court, Judge.
All right. Okay, Ms. Cook.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Wagner is 17 years old. He's been in Georgia for the last 4 years. He just recently graduated from high school, May of 2022, from Tri-City High School. He does have plans to continue his education to get his HVAC certification. He's currently, it's my understanding that since graduation, so since May, he's been working with his uncle in a lawn care business. As you've heard from pretrial, this is his first adult arrest. My understanding was that they recommended an unsecured judicial release, and that's what we would be asking for. Your Honor, again, he has no adult priors. He's very young. The purpose of bond is just to ensure that he comes back. He has a very promising future ahead of him. He does have plans for his life. So we're just asking the court to give him a signature bond. It's my understanding that with that, though, he may need a cosigner, so we may need to contact a parent because of his age. But financially, it would just be unduly a hardship on him to come up with a $3,000 surety bond. So for those purposes, Your Honor, given the totality of the circumstances here, we're just asking the court for an OR bond.
Do we have a parent on Zoom or in the courtroom? Yes, Mr. Wagner, do we have your parent or?
She couldn't make it. She wanted to make it. She couldn't make it. I didn't get a chance to call her.
Couldn't make it. Okay. All right. Your bond is going to be set at $1,500. That's going to be a surety bond. Next court date is going to be June 28th. Conditions of your bond: no illegal drugs, no alcohol consumption, and definitely no weapons and no firearms. If you own or you possess any firearms, they have to be surrendered to the authorities within 48 hours of being released. You cannot have any firearms on your person in any residence that you occupy, including the roof and the gutters. You're not to possess any firearms while you are in any vehicle, irrespective of who is in the vehicle or who owns the car. And definitely no firearms anywhere near you. We'll see you on June 28th. Thank you.
Position 17, Lester. Oh, hold on.
This is Oliver Lester, accused of theft by taking a misdemeanor from June 11, 2022. Mr. Lester, you've been, this case number is 22 CR 003754G. Mr. Lester, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Wanda Gant. Any prize, Ms. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor, the defendant has 24 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was September 16, 2021 for a probation violation in Fulton County. That underlying charge was burglary. The defendant does have a history of failure to appears. There were 2 in 2019, 1 in 2017, and 1 in 2016. The defendant does have prior felony convictions. It was 1 in 2010 for burglary and criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. And that was 1 in 2004 for cruelty to children in the 1st degree.
That's good. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Ms. Harmon?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond to stay away from the incident location of 1025 Robert Smalls Way Northwest in Atlanta. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Your Honor, I'm persuaded by the fact that he has the FTAs that are very recent and multiple, that it necessitates a a surety bond in this incident. And Your Honor, as you well know from the incident details in the warrant, that the defendant is accused of basically stealing a patio set from somebody in that area. The victim in that area, that case is John DeBoe. DeBoe is DEBOE. Taking the patio set and trying to sell the patio set to, I think he actually did sell the patio set to a third party. So Your Honor, he was charged accordingly. So we would also add a no further contact with the victim, John DeBoe in this case. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Grant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, my internet connection froze for a moment, so I did not get a chance to hear the dollar amount for regarding his bond recommendation.
$2,500 surety bond is being recommended in this case, Ms. Gann.
Thank you. Mr. Oliver Lester is 55 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He has a son in Douglasville. However, Your Honor, Mr. Lester's son will not be able to contribute anything toward his bond. We are unopposed to stay away at the incident location. Mr. Lester completed 12th grade. He is unemployed at this time, Your Honor. Therefore, he does not have the means to pay much toward anything toward bond. He denies the allegations. And while I acknowledge my client's history, I would just submit to the court that the FTAs are a tad bit remote. And given his financial circumstances and the nature of the allegation, I'm requesting a signature bond. If Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then the lowest bond possible. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Bond is set at $2,000. It is a surety bond. Next court date is June 28th. No contact with John DeBoe, DEBOE. Stay away from 1025 Robert Smalls Way in Northwest Atlanta. Also stay away from the entire street known as Elbridge Drive in Atlanta, Georgia. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. Nick, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 26, Rhodes.
We have Jorenda Rhodes accused of simple battery domestic violence from a May 30th, 2022 incident. Case number 22 CR 003749E. Mr. Rhodes, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Kim.
Yes.
Thank you. Any priors, Ms. Jackson?
Just a moment, please, Your Honor. I apologize to the courts. I do not have a record for Mr. Rhodes, Your Honor. Would you like to come back to Mr. Rhodes?
No, that's perfectly fine. I'll see if Ms. Brown has one. Ms. Brown, do you have the GCIC on Mr. Rhodes?
Judge, I do. I didn't write down every single conviction, but what I can tell you is he has 17 cycles, Judge. Most concerning for the state on his record is that he has at least 2 aggravated stalkings, one from 2010, another one from 2008. And then he has an aggravated assault conviction, battery conviction from 2011. On that aggravated stalking, he served what appears to be 8 years on it. And so as a result of that, Judge, would you like me to go on or?
No, that's good. I understand he's got an open felony case, 22 CP, 209838. Is that what you have?
I can check that, Judge. I don't have it written down.
All right, thank you. While you verify that, Ms. Kim, what's your recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. Actually, we would like to request for a signature on bond. He is 47 years old, and he does not live with, he resides with Miss Angel Alain. But none of them actually called for the police. It was misunderstanding. This happened more than a month ago. Mr. Mr. Ross does not have a child with Miss Angel Alain. However, he has 4 other children who are minor that he has to take care of. He's been working as a landscaping laborer for last 5 years. He completed up to 12th grade in high school. We would like to request for signature on bond, and yet since he has cases from 2008, which I believe they are kind of remote. 2011 is also very remote. If your honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we would like to request for the maximum $1,000 surety bond, your honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Bond is set at $1,500. It is a surety bond. No further contact with, I want to make sure I pronounce the name. Is it, I think I have Angel Allen.
It is, Judge, but if I just maybe heard before you.
Yes.
Yes, Judge.
What would you like to tell me?
Judge, and I was just checking that. I believe what happened when Mr. Rose was arrested on this warrant, there was marijuana and a gun found in the car.
That's from a separate incident. That's
yeah, right. Yes. I mean, I think that I was just referring to the open case you had just mentioned.
Yeah,
it wasn't
I read that warrant too, so I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. And so our recommendation would be based on that and the history of 3,000 surety and no further contact with the victim in this case.
Angel Allen. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Angel Allen, the anger awareness, and to stay away from the 1420 Fairbanks and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, Judge.
Understood. I'm still comfortable with the 1,500 surety bond. And once he makes bond, he is to have no contact with Angel Allen. He's not to call her from the jail. He's not to speak to her in person, not through a phone, not through a computer device, and not on social media. And Mr. Rhodes, you are also to stay away from 1430 Fairbanks Street in Atlanta, Georgia. You're not to return to that location. If that's where you live, you can return one time only with a police officer to retrieve your belongings.
Yeah, I have all my clothes there.
Well, then make sure that you make good use of that one-time visit with an officer to retrieve all your stuff.
All right.
Within 30 days of being released, you are to update the court with your new mailing and residential address and all contact information. No illegal drugs, no weapons, no firearms, and no alcohol consumption. Your next court date presently is June 28th.
Excuse me.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Rods, if you have any questions, please feel free to call me. You have every right to remain silent.
All right.
Thank you.
Position 33, Williams.
Okay, Mr. Andre Williams is accused of battery, domestic violence, allegedly on June 11, 2022. Mr. Williams, your case number is 22 CR 003739F. You've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Maureen McLeod.
Yes.
This is a case in which involved the cross-defendant, Maya Clark, who was accused on June 11th, 2022. Okay, and yes, Ms. Jackson, any priors on Mr. Williams?
The defendant has 4 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was July 4th, 2019 in Franklin County, Georgia for a burglary in the 2nd degree and criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. There was no disposition for that arrest, and there are no convictions listed in the GCIC, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Harmon?
Yes, Your Honor. We briefly touched on the facts when we went over Ms. Clark's case, and our recommendation in this case would be a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Maya Clark, M-A-I-A, last name Clark, a third party transfer for the children to stay away from, it's the address of 5500 Oakley Industrial Boulevard, apartment 415, Fairburn, Georgia. A 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Mr. Williams is accused of, during the course of the incident that he had with Miss Clark, he was accused of pushing her to the ground, which caused a scratch on the right side of her face, and she did sustain a visible injury. He's also accused of grabbing her by the hair. We do believe that he does present a risk of danger and intimidation to the victim in this case, just because of the nature of their relationship. We also believe, Your Honor, that even though the history is limited, because this is family violence, we believe that this bond recommendation is warranted, especially the no contact, because it appears that they are in a situation where they are inclined to fight one another. Nothing further.
All right. And refresh my memory, Ms. Bridgewater, did I require Ms. Clark to stay away from Oakley Industrial Road?
Well, I believe that is her home. They do not live together.
Okay. All right. Okay, Ms. McLeod, what's your recommendation?
Your Honor, I would ask the court to consider a signature bond for my client for a number of reasons. First of all, he has no violent history and he has no conviction. He is 25 years old, Your Honor. Today is actually his birthday. He tells me he's gainfully employed. He has a high school diploma. He's a native of Atlanta. He's been here forever. He tells me that he and Ms. Clark have been in a 7-year relationship, and it is not a volatile relationship at all. They're just having an argument on this particular occasion, and that would appear to be true, Your Honor, given the fact that they've been in a relationship for 7 years, and there is no history of violence between them. So based on the fact that he has no conviction, Your Honor, and certainly no history of any violence in his record, I would ask the court to consider giving him a signature bond so that he can get back out and go to work. He tells me he needs to be back out so he can work.
All right. Bond is going to be set at $3,500. It is a signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with Ms. Maya Clark. You are to stay 200 yards away from her. You're not to communicate with her in person, not through a cell phone, not from the jail, not through a computer or electronic device, and definitely not through a third party or through social media. You're not to consume any illegal drugs, no alcohol consumption, and no weapons and no firearms. If you get arrested again for any other things, or if you fail to report to pretrial or fail to appear in court, your $3,500 signature bond will be revoked and converted to either a surety bond or a cash bond only. I guess you can, if Ms. Clark does not live at Oakley Industrial Boulevard, you can return to that location, but please keep in mind that you cannot share the same housing with her. If you have children with Ms. Clark, I will allow for third-party transfer in that particular case, which means that if you want to see or visit the children in question, you would have to make arrangements through a neutral third party. Thank you.
Thank you, Roman.
Mm-hmm. This case will be further noticed. Courtroom 2, who do we have next, please?
Your Honor, what was the bond amount? I'm sorry.
$3,500 signature bond through pretrial services.
Thank you. Next, we have Abdullah Harris. Position number 1.
Oh, okay. Mr. Jarasha, last name is Abdullah Harris, hyphenated, accused of criminal trespass and possession and use of drug-related objects in accusation number 22 CR 003727E. Alleged incident date is June 11th, 2022. Mr. Abdullah Harris, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Wanda Gant. Ms. Jackson, any priors, please?
The defendant has 22 cycles. Your Honor, this is going to be a bond surrender. The defendant appeared to be out on a signature bond through pretrial services. The defendant's last arrest was May the 25th, 2022, for theft by shoplifting, a misdemeanor, in the with the City of Atlanta Police Department. That case appeared to be still pending. Looks more like a reference number. I was not provided a case number, Your Honor.
All right, was that the charge of criminal trespass as well?
The charge of criminal trespassing they did provide me with a case number if you would like that.
Is that the one ending in 289E?
Yes.
Okay, no, I've got it. Thank you.
Okay. Also, the defendant has an open pretrial case for the violation of Controlled Substance Act. I apologize, Your Honor.
That's okay.
And criminal trespassing and possession and use of drug-related objects. That case number is 22CP208577. In addition to that, the defendant appeared to be on probation, first offender probation in Gwinnett County for burglary in the second degree and criminal damage to property in the second degree and possession of possession of Schedule II controlled substance and possession and use of drug-related objects. That disposition date was October the 28th, 2021, and term is for 5 years. The defendant does have prior misdemeanor convictions. There's one in 2019 for driving while license suspended or revoked. There was one in 2017 for a DUI. There was one in 2000, and I apologize to the courts for being out of order.
Yes.
There was one in 2021. The defendant received a nolo contendere sentence for criminal trespassing. And there was one in 2014 for driving while license suspended or revoked. Nothing in addition.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ms. Harmon?
It's me, Your Honor.
Good. Okay. Yes. And
Yes, Your
what would
Honor.
you recommend?
Our recommendation in this case, the bond was already preset at a $4,000 surety bond on the criminal trespass, and on the drug-related items, 1,000 surety bond. We would recommend a 2,000 surety bond on the criminal trespass, since there was no violence in this incident. And we would keep the recommendation at $1,000 surety bond for the possession of drug-related items. We would ask that you would order him to stay away from 507 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard, which is the Chevron gas station where he was located. Apparently, the employees called for officer assistance because he already had a criminal trespass warning issued on 5/26/22, where he was accused of shoplifting in that incident. And when he was searched incident to arrest, he was found with a glass pipe. We would also ask that you would order no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a part of your bond order. Nothing further.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jarvis Abdullah Harris is 38 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 30 years. He has family here, including a sister and a brother. Your Honor, we are unopposed to the stay away at the incident location. Mr. Abdullah Harris obtained a high school diploma. He also completed 3 years of college. He studied psychology. Your Honor, Mr. Abdullah Harris informs me that he is a micro investor. He has been in this position for 10 years. I acknowledge my client's history, Your Honor. He denies the allegations. He is presumed innocent in this and any other open cases. I'm requesting a signature bond on Mr. Abdullah Harris's behalf. And if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then I would ask for a bond of no more than $1,000 total. That would be $500 for the criminal trespass and $500 for the possession of drug-related objects. And again, we are unopposed to the stay away, Your Honor. Thank you.
And we would ask that you would keep it as surety, Your Honor, since there was the recent FTA in 2019 and 2021.
Okay. And Ms. Jackson, do you know the amount of the signature bond that that the pretrial services is revoking?
No, I apologize, Your Honor.
Okay. On the criminal trespass, what concerns me is his recent arrest in April or in 2022 with regards to another location at Westwood Avenue, and he received a judicial release. So I'm not sure what's going on with this new arrest, but considering his likelihood to reoffend on the criminal trespass is going to be $2,000, and the use of drug-related objects can be $500. Total bond is set at $2,500. It is a surety bond. Next court date is going to be June 28th. If Mr. Abdullah Harris needs to make bond, he would need to include the pretrial bond that has been already revoked in his other open case. He is to stay 200 yards away from the Chevron gas station at 507 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard, in addition to the stay away from 1506 Westwood Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia, which has been previously ordered. And we will see him on June 28th. No drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position number 25, Mr. Person.
We have Rashad Persons, middle initial L, case number 22 CR 003762F, accused of simple battery domestic violence on June 9th, 2019.
Judge, he has two cases.
What?
Three.
And, oh, yes, I see it. Okay. Sorry, from my other page. There we go. Okay, and yeah, Mr. Rashad has another case, position 24, case number 22 CR 003761F, accused of battery domestic violence from June 11th, 2022. So these are the two outstanding cases against Mr. Persons. Sir, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say in open court, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is going to be Ms. J. Kim.
Your Honor, actually, I am interrupting for breakout room requests because we do have two inmates who need a Spanish interpreter, and she's available now. So while Ms. Maureen McLeod is representing other clients, may we please have a breakout room session?
All right, so would you be able to just address Mr. Persons, and I'll put you in a breakout? Is that all right?
I am representing him, Your
Thank
Honor.
you, Your Honor.
Oh, you're representing Ms.
Yes,
Person?
yes.
All
Yes.
right, okay.
Your Honor, he's actually position 23, 24, and 25. I just looked at the calendar. I wasn't.
Exactly.
Oh, he's got another case. Okay.
Yeah, 23,
All right.
24, and 25.
All right, so okay, first of all, let me clarify. Ms. McLeod, do you represent Mr. Persons?
I do, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Kim, who is your client with whom you need to speak?
Two position is, I think I put in a chat. Give me 1 second, Your Honor. It is.
Is it position 5, Santiago?
Yes, Your Honor.
Campos Santiago?
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
is it Chilelo Francisco?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, position 5 and 6, are those the two?
Yes.
All right. And are they in courtroom 2?
They are. I'm gonna bring them to courtroom 3 in just a minute, Your Honor. I'm waiting for Deputy Francois to come back.
All right. So Ms. Kim, please hold tight. As soon as they're brought to courtroom 3, I can place courtroom 3, yourself, and our court reporter, and she is Ms. Bailey.
Amy Bailey, I'm right here, Judge.
I see you, Amy Bailey. All right. So as soon as we get the courtroom available, we'll be able to put you in a breakout room. But in the meantime, let's just clarify with Mr. Persons. Make sure I check all my pages. Okay. Mr. Persons, let me start from the top. Again, you have 3 open misdemeanor cases against you. I've identified 2 of them. The third one is 22 CR 003760F, in which you've been accused of battery domestic violence from June 6, 2019. So you have one case from June 6, 2019, another case from June 9th, 2019, and the third more recent case from June 11th, 2022, all involving family violence issues. Please keep in mind that you have been advised of your right to remain silent. Anything you say, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and Ms. McLeod is representing you. Ms. Harmon, let's begin with position number 23. 3. Excuse me, sorry about that. Ms. Jackson, may I have Mr. Person's priors first?
The defendant has 7 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was May the 4th, 2017, for a failure to appear, and that was in Fulton County. That underlying charge was not listed. The defendant does have misdemeanor convictions, one in 2017 for simple battery family violence, and one in 2010 for possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is it Ms. Harmon?
Brown.
Ms. Brown, yes, please.
Yes, Judge. First, I would like to note to the court that for the 2019 cases, because there's a statute of limitations issues, we have accused them with the tolling language that allows us the opportunity to still move forward with the prosecution of these cases. All 3 cases involve the same victim, Judge, and that victim is Yasmin Persons, which is the defendant's sister. And starting with June 6, 2019, he was accused of striking her in the face, leading to bruises, to include when the officer arrived, he indicated that he could see blood coming from her mouth. The residence there is 3350 Mount Gilead Road, apartment J85. And the next case, Judge, the June 11, 2022 case, he's accused of punching, again, the same victim, his sister, several times in the face. There was a fight there over household chores. And when she went to the hospital, she was admitted to Emory. She had a small laceration on her left shin and a swollen right leg. And then in 2019, Judge, same victim again, his sister, he punched her in the face, leaving a black eye, Judge. What's concerning in this case, obviously, is that this is the same victim, his sister, that he's attacking over and over again. As you heard from pretrial, he does have that simple battery from 2015. He is a danger to the community. He's a danger to his sister. Judge, we would be asking for an exceptionally high bond in this case, primarily because we have 3 cases involving the same victim in this case, Judge. I would be asking for a $9,500 bond, Judge. I believe that's $3,500 on each battery, Judge, and $25 on the simple battery, if my math is correct. A stay away from the 3350 Mount Gilead Road, apartment J85. No further contact with his sister, Yasmin Persons, anger managed, 1-day anger awareness class, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, Judge.
All right, thank you. Ms. McClellan?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I was muted. My client is 35 years old. He is a native of Atlanta. He tells me that he has a high school diploma and some college. He did some courses in business administration. He tells me that he and his sister have been living together for some time. He says she has bipolar disorder and sometimes she attacks him, and that is the basis of these several complaints that she has made against him, Your Honor. But she is his sister and they have lived together for some time. He says he really doesn't have any other place to go right now, but he's trying to get somewhere to go. Your Honor, based on his history, he only has 1 prior conviction. And he has 1 other charge. I don't believe that he has the only violent conviction that he has is some time ago, I believe. I heard 2013 or something like that, Your Honor. And these cases involving his sister, she has continued to live with him. They've continued to live together. And he says essentially that he is a victim, that she does attack him from time to time because of her illness. I'm asking the court to take that into consideration in setting his bond.
All right, thank you. On position 23, the June 6, 2019 incident, the bond is going to be $2,500, and that's going to be a signature bond through the jail. With regards to position, for position 25, the simple battery from June 9th, 2019. That's going to be a 2,500 signature bond through the jail. And with regards to the battery on June 11th, 2022, that's going to be a 2,500 cash bond only. This is going to be a total of a 7,500 split bond for Mr. Persons. He is to have no further contact with Yasmin Persons. He is to stay 500 yards away from 3350 Mount Gilead Road, the entire complex in Atlanta, Georgia. He's not going to be given a one-time visit to that location until further order of the court. Once he makes bond, he needs to update the court with his current mailing address and residential address and seek. And a motion needs to be filed for Mr. Persons to return to the location to retrieve his personal belongings. Once he makes bond as well, he will attend a 6-month domestic violence or family violence program at his expense, and that must be commenced within 90 days of being released. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. No contact with Yasmin Persons from the jail through a third party, in person, through a cell phone, electronic device, and definitely not through any social media. All right, Ms. McLeod, any questions about your bond? His bond?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Brown, any questions?
Just one follow-up, Judge. When he's released the family violence program, how long did you say before?
He has to enroll in the program within 90 days, 3 months of being released. And he must complete the domestic violence program at his expense. Next court date for all 3 cases is going to be June 28th.
Okay, you're fine.
Thank you.
Position 16, Katz.
I'm sorry, Francois, what did you say?
Position 16, Katz.
Cats, all right. By the way, is courtroom 3 available yet?
They should be signing in now as we speak.
All right. Hopefully they'll just chime in when they are there. Okay, thank you. I have Jonathan Katz, K-A-T-T-S, case number 22 CR 003-755E, accused of criminal trespass and fair evasion on June 11th, 2022. Mr. Katz, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Wanda Gant. Ms. Jackson, any priors?
The defendant has 28 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was May 1st, 2021 for trespassing, failed to leave property upon order by owner, and that was in Seminole County, Florida. The defendant does have misdemeanor convictions. There's one in 2020. They're mainly out of Florida. One in 2020 for trespassing, an additional one in 2020 for trespassing. And there's another one in 2020 for trespassing. There's one in 2019 for petty theft, an additional one in 2019 for trespassing, an additional one in 2019 for trespassing.
Oh, that's good. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Ms. Harmon or Ms. Brown? Ms. Harmon, yes.
Yes, Your Honor. Just bring my screen. Yes, Your Honor, you already stated the incident date, and the location I saw was 3800 East Main Street in College Park, which is the College Park MARTA station. Our recommendation in this case for the criminal trespass is, I'm sorry, a $500 surety bond. Your Honor, he does have the history, which you just heard, which indicates that he does have a risk of reoffense. We would also ask that you consider the fact that he was already on suspension at the time of the incident when he entered the College Park MARTA station, when he did evade the fare of $250. That's what the warrant indicates. He was already on suspension effective June 7th from an arrest on May 8th of 2022. And for the fare evasion, we would recommend a $500 surety bond. We would also recommend that he stay away from that incident location, 3800 East Main Street, College Park MARTA station. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, nothing further.
So he has an active 14-day suspension that begins on June 7th. So
Right.
I guess he's got a couple more weeks unless he racked in another suspension. Okay, Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jonathan Katz is 25 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for the past 10 years. He does have family here in Atlanta, including his sister and his mother. However, no one is available to assist with bond. We are opposed to the stay away unless there is an active suspension in place. Mr. Katz completed the 10th grade. He is unemployed at this time, Your Honor. He informs me that he is disabled and has been so for the past 6 or 7 years. Therefore, he does not have the means, nor does he have any family assistance. Your Honor, I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Katz's behalf, and if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, that you give him the lowest bond possible, as he will not be able to pay anything toward bond, Your Honor. Thank you.
Criminal trespass is 500, fair evasion is 250. He's got a $750 surety bond. Next court date is June 28th. He's to stay 200 yards away from the College Park MARTA station. And I'm not sure what the suspension covers, but if the current suspension, which ends on June 21st, covers all of MARTA, then he needs to stay away from all of MARTA until June 21st. And then he needs to verify that there are no additional suspensions resulting from the arrest of June 11th, 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 10, Mr. Dolapa.
Sangar Dalatkar, case number 22 CR 0037446Y. So you've been accused of battery, domestic violence. The case has been accused and the accusation number is 22 CR 0037446Y. This is from a June 11, 2022 incident. Based on this accusation, please remember that you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of your case, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Ms. Wanda Gant. Ms. Jackson?
Your Honor, I'm just trying to double check. Oh, I see the name now. I apologize.
That's okay.
Just a moment, please. I apologize to the court. The defendant has 2 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was March the 24th, 2015 for simple battery, and that was in Johns Creek, Georgia. There was no disposition for that arrest, and there are no convictions listed in the GCIC.
Thank you. Ms. Harmon?
Yes, Your Honor. As you know, the victim in this case, her name is Keely. I'm not going to attempt the last name. It's Keely, and the last name is the same as the defendant's name, as that is his wife. They appear to have gotten into a struggle over a cell phone in which he struck her with the cell phone to cause injury. Our recommendation, based on the incident details, is a $2,500 surety bond, a stay away from the incident location of 215 Morton Manor Court in Johns Creek. No further contact with the victim, his wife, a 1-day anger awareness course, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We do believe that he does present a great risk of intimidation to this victim and a danger to the victim as they are married, in that he could possibly do further damage to her. There is no disposition on that battery family violence. The disposition I found in Odyssey says dismissed from 2015, but it is concerning, Your Honor, that there was even an arrest, a previous arrest for the same, a similar offense, including violence. So I do think that that does show some risk to reoffend. So those are the bases of our recommendation in this case. Nothing further.
Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Sangard Dowolaka is 54 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area for 18 years. He is married and he has 5 children. The youngest, of course, are twins, ages 19, and the oldest, age 25. Your Honor, we are opposed to the stay away at the incident location. Mr. Dolakawa informs me that that is his residence. The complaining witness, as I understand it, Your Honor, is Nina Dowolaka, who is his daughter and not his wife. Miss Keeley is his wife. The complaining witness is Miss Nina. Again, my client informs me that Nina does not live there. Mr. Dowolaka has completed high school. He has 2 masters. He's also a PhD candidate in the area of physics. He is currently employed at Amazon. Your Honor, he denies the allegations. He states that he was basically getting his phone away from Nina, and Nina scratched herself as she has very long fingernails. I have been in contact with Miss Nina Dowakala, and she informs me that she wants to have that she would like to have no violent contact with her father. I did send her the Zoom link. I'm not sure if she's on the line or not. We heard about Mr. Dowalaka's background. There are no convictions for violence, Your Honor. I am requesting a signature bond. He is recommended according to the report that I received. Again, Your Honor, we are opposed to the stay away and would ask that Your Honor order a no violent contact order. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Nadia Dalotka, if you could please unmute your screen and start your video.
Hi, I'm Nadia. I'm Nina's sister. And
Excellent.
I'm here also.
Your Honor, I do apologize for interrupting. I would object to this testimony. The sister is not a party to this case.
No, I'm here. My name is Keely Dolatka.
Again, Keely is not a party to this case as well.
I want to correct the record. Sorry, I want to correct the record. It wasn't me.
Miss Nadia, Miss Keely,
Yes, yes.
Please be quiet.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Miss Gant, please complete your motion. And sorry, Miss Gant, Miss Keely, please have your video and your button unmuted. And your video. And remain quiet. And Ms. Gant, sorry for the interruption. Please complete your request.
I just would ask that Your Honor not consider any testimony from Ms. Keely Dowakala, as she's mentioned in the warrant. However, she is not a complaining witness. She may, of course, reserve her testimony for the trial or preliminary hearing.
All right, thank you. Now, Ms. Harmon, I do see the prior 2015 case involving one Nina Dalotka. And who is the alleged victim according to the prosecution for the 2022 case?
Yes, let me make the correction officially, Your Honor, to the record. Ms. Gann is correct. I think I transposed the names in the victim. It is Nina Dalotka who is the victim in this case, Your Honor. Ms. Keely would be a witness, as she appears to have been involved in the incident. And Your Honor, I think that is even more concerning. That is the second victim in a family violence incident that is concerning to us. I do think I see from the 2015 court case that he was ordered to some parenting classes. I don't know if that was completed, but it looks like that was ordered in this case. And so I would ask Your Honor to further our recommendation that he would be ordered to do parenting classes again and to stay away from and have no further contact with Nina Dalotka, especially since this is the second incident concerning this same victim. So I don't know if Miss Nina Dalotka is available for testimony. But we haven't spoken to Nina Dalotka. Our office has not spoken to Miss Nina.
All right, thank you.
And Your Honor, if I could respond briefly, please. I know this is a bond hearing, but it happens all the time that non-parties testify at a bond hearing. And if a witness is on the line, we definitely will be requesting a no contact with not only the victim, but any witness that is involved. And we'll ask that she'll be able to address the court in this matter, as she is a witness And we are also requesting a no contact order with the victim and the witnesses in this case.
Okay, I'm not going to make any decisions until I've heard from all concerned individuals. So Ms. Dowlatka, if you'd like to testify, would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, question number one. Are you operating a moving motor vehicle at the present time?
No, I'm parked.
Okay, and then question number two is how do you know Mr. Sangar Dalatka?
He's my husband.
Okay, and and your name is?
Keely.
All right, and who is Nina Dalatka?
Nina is my daughter.
All right,
She's 24 years old.
24, and does she reside in the same household as you and Mr. Dalatka?
No, she doesn't.
All right. So what would you like to tell us in terms of whether you want Sangar Dalatka back at home and contact with him, between you and him?
He can be allowed at home.
All right. And what about contact between you and him?
I'd prefer not to.
And where will you be residing if he's allowed back home?
At a friend's house.
So you're not residing at the marital home?
I am, but I'm moving out.
And when would that be?
Today.
All right. Okay. Anything else to add?
I prefer not.
Miss Keely, do you have anything else to add?
No. I do want him to get out of there. I don't want him to have to stay there.
All right, duly noted. All right, I saw Nina Dowlatka on the Zoom. Would she like to testify?
That is me, yes.
Yes, and if you'd like to raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Do you reside at the Morton Manor Court location?
I was, but I moved out after that incident.
And so you do not reside at that location?
No, I do not.
All right. Anything else to add?
No.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Dalatka. You can mute your screen.
Thank you.
Okay.
And Your Honor.
Yes, Ms. Dent.
I do apologize for interrupting. I am opposed to the parenting class, Your Honor. My client has not been convicted, and according to Odyssey, that case was dismissed, which should not count as a conviction, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Dalatka, with the battery domestic violence, your bond is going to be set at $7,500. This is going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. Once you are to have no further contact with Nina Dalatka, which means that you are to stay 200 yards away from her. You're not to communicate with her in any way, form, or manner, including in person through a third party, through a phone, a computer device, or even on social media. You may have no further violent contact with Keely Dowlatka, which means you cannot have any physical or verbal altercations with Keely Dowlatka. You can definitely have contact with her, but just no physical or violent contact. You may return to the 215 Morton Manor Court location. I don't know if that's in Alpharetta or Johns Creek, but I'm assuming that's your marital home. You may return to that location as long as Nina Dowlatka does not reside in that location. No illegal drugs, no alcohol consumption, no weapons, and no firearms. You will report to pretrial services once a month. And while you are out on a signature bond, you will enroll, attend, and complete a 6-month domestic violence intervention program and that program must begin within 60 days of your release. Those are weekly classes, and you will pay for each class, and that program must be completed while you are out on a signature bond through pretrial services. Your next court date will be sent to you at the Morton Manor Court address So please remember to show up in court. If you get arrested again for anything else, if you violate any of the conditions of the bond, or if you fail to report to pretrial, the 7,500 signature bond will be revoked and convert to either a surety bond or a cash bond. Do you have any questions, Mr. Dalaka, about your bond only? All right, thank you.
Your Honor, if I may, Your Honor,
Certainly.
regarding the DVIP, Your Honor, that is a cost per, it's expensive, Your Honor. I'm concerned about my client's means to pay for that, and he does not have any prior convictions. I would ask that Your Honor consider just recommending a one-day anger awareness class.
I was thinking about that, but considering this is his second arrest involving immediate members of his family, I'm going to authorize the domestic violence intervention program as I am permitted to do so under setting bond conditions for domestic violence cases.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Position 2, Mr. Allen.
Joseph Allen is case 22 CR 0037288H, accused of simple battery, domestic violence, and cruelty in the third degree. Who is the prosecutor for this case?
It's me, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Harmon, can we agree to NOD the cruelty, or actually null pros the cruelty, since the case has already been accused?
Yes.
Okay, so please submit a null pros to Ms. Holly Bridgewater.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and I think she is on the Fulton County email location. So Mr. Joseph Allen, you are accused of one offense, simple battery, domestic violence only, on June 11th, 2022. With regards to this charge, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about this case, your statements can and will be used against you. Your attorney is going to be Ms. McLeod. Thank you. Any priors, Ms. Jackson?
Defendant has 26 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was May the 13th, 2022 for a failure to appear. Those underlying charges were criminal trespassing and simple assault, and that was in Fulton County. That case appeared to be still pending. That case number is 19 CR 00905-1 in the letter F. In addition to that, the defendant appeared to be on misdemeanor probation in Fulton County for battery. That case number is 21 CR 005577 in the letter E. The defendant does have prior arrest for simple battery. There was one in 2016, one in 2014, and one in 2012, but they were not convictions. The defendant does have prior felony convictions out of New Jersey. There was one in 2009 for aggravated assault and unlawful for a person to carry a weapon, and one in 2004 for possession of controlled substance, and one in 2002 for bail jumping. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Harmon?
Your Honor, on the simple battery family violence, we're recommending a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Monifa Wilkins, Monifa, last name Wilkins, common spelling, a one-day anger awareness course, a third-party transfer of the child that they share or children, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, stay away from the incident location of 3076 Elmwood Court in Atlanta. He is accused of pushing Miss Wilkins with an open hand to get around her to get to their minor child. What was notable from the warrant for me, Your Honor, was that the officers noted that they had been dispatched to that location multiple times for violence and physical altercations involving those parties. So we would absolutely take that as a risk of reoffense and a danger to the victim because the officers took the time to point that out when they made their report. And then based on the history, Your Honor, the 2018 does show cause the state some concern that he would not return to court. So we're asking that you make it a surety bond so that we can ensure that he will return. It's really nothing further from the state on this one.
All right. From what I can gather, the prior case was assigned to Judge Morrison. Is this something, but it was closed. Then another case was assigned to Judge Richardson, and that's been closed. So we're going to keep this case with Judge Shale. Ms. Harmon? Ms. Bridgewater?
Your Honor, I think we only send it to a particular judge if the case is still open. If there is a procedure that dictates that we send it to a previous judge of a closed case, there is no objection from the state. But I think because those cases were closed, that's the reason why it wasn't sent to one of those two judges.
Okay, that's fine then. Okay. Ms. McLeod, what is your bond recommendation?
Your Honor, my bond recommendation, despite my client's history, is a signature bond, and I will tell the court why this is. He totally denies that he touched the alleged victim. He said there was someone, her adult son, brought a friend into the house who had a gun on him. And there was a lot going on, and he just wanted to take his 10-year-old son out of the situation. And when he tried to take his son out of the house so he could get away from what he considered to be an unsafe situation, then someone tried to stop him. He was just trying to take his son outside to get him away from this. The court will note that there have been allegations against him, but they were closed, and there's a good reason why they were closed. It's because they were unsubstantiated. He says that he has known Miss Williams for a very long time. They were, in fact, married at some point in time. He's known her for over 30-something years. And those allegations that she made against him in the past were dismissed because there was no substance to it, and he denies that he's ever placed his hand on her. And that is the basis for my asking for a signature bond for him, Your Honor. He tells me he is employed. He is fully involved in his 10-year-old son's life. He also has another child, not by her, who is older, and he does want to continue to see his child, who is his legitimate child, because they were married at the time of the child's birth, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Allen, on this particular case, your bond is going to be set at $1,500. It's going to be a surety bond. Your next court date is going to be June 28th. No further contact with Monifa Wilkins. I will allow for a third-party transfer of the children. Next court date is June 28th. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. And that's it.
Your Honor, can I add one more thing for the record to renew our request for the higher surety bond? I just wanted to double check before I report it to the court. In case 21 CR 00033E, which is a different case that pretrial gave us, he was convicted of a battery family violence on 1/2021, and the victim is the same victim. So we would ask.
That's why he's got no further contact with Miss Monifa Wilkins.
Okay.
All right.
I understand, Your Honor.
Which means that he would have to leave the marital home, which is, I guess.
He doesn't live there, Your Honor.
Oh, he does not? Okay,
Does
good.
not live there.
Then let me make sure where he does live.
And Judge, is this position number 2? Because I'm showing a simple battery and a cruelty charge.
Oh, that's the one I said, the cruelty. Miss Harmon's going to email you a.
No process?
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right. And with regards to the defendant's address, well, I've got Elmwood Court as his address. So he's going to have to stay away from 3076 Elmwood Court. And within 30 days of being released, he must update the clerk's office with his new residential and mailing address. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And that bond amount was $1,500?
$1,500 surety. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'm assuming Ms. Kim is in a breakout with courtroom 3 and our interpreters. So what's our
We're done,
next
Your
case
Honor.
in courtroom 2?
Your Honor, I
Just
think
stepped
we're
away.
done.
What's the bond amount?
1,500 on Mr. Allen, surety
Okay.
bond.
Thank you. You guys can go to courtroom 3 with the interpreter case.
All right. Okay. We, who do we have in the red shirt, please?
What's your name?
Francisco.
Francisco.
Thank you, sir. We have Mr. Sorry, Miss Bailey?
It's position number 6, is it?
Yeah, it's position.
Yes.
Okay.
Is Miss Bailey unmuted? Okay, Miss Bailey, if you please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide, the testimony you translate will be the truth and the whole truth without any changes or embellishments?
I do.
Thank you. If you feel we're going too fast or if you need someone to take a pause, please feel free to chime in.
Okay.
All
El juramento era para mí, señor Chilel. I was just explaining that you were swearing me because
Okay.
he raised his hand.
Okay, thank you very much. This is State versus Transito Osbeli Chilel Francisco, case number 22 CR 003-758F regarding an incident on June 12, 2022.
Entonces, este es el caso de Francisco Chilel. El caso es número 22 CR 003-758F de Francisco y se trata de un incidente ocurrido el 12 de junio del 2022.
Mr. Francisco has been accused of the following misdemeanor offenses: driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, failure to keep in the proper lane, driving while license suspended or revoked, and possession of an open alcohol container.
Entonces, el señor Francisco se le acusa de los siguientes cargos. DUI, o sea, manejar bajo los efectos de drogas o alcohol, no haber mantenido su carril, manejar con la licencia suspendida o cancelada y de tener un envase o un contenedor alcohólico abierto.
Mr. Francisco, you have a right to remain silent about the facts of the case. Any statements you make can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and Ms. J. Kim will be representing you.
Entonces, señor Francisco, usted tiene el derecho de mantenerse en silencio durante esta audiencia. Cualquier información o cualquier declaración que usted haga se puede usar en su contra en un futuro. Usted también tiene el derecho de la representación de un abogado y la señora Kim lo va a representar hoy.
Our pretrial officer, Ms. Bridget Jackson, will let us know of his prior misdemeanor, prior criminal cases.
Entonces, la fiscal, la señora Jackson, me va a informar si usted tiene antecedentes o si tiene delitos anteriores en su prontuario.
Ms. Jackson? Oh, I'm sorry. Could you please unmute?
Yes, Your Honor, I apologize. I do not
Okay.
have a file for this defendant.
All right, that's perfectly fine. You may go ahead and translate that, Ms. Bailey.
Entonces la señora fiscal dice, me disculpa señora juez, yo no tengo el expediente, no tengo ninguna información del expediente de este acusado.
Oh, Ms. Harmon?
And yes, Your Honor, unfortunately, we don't have a GCIC. We only have a driver's record in this case. And I didn't see any similar offenses in his driver's record. Nevertheless,
We're gonna let Ms. Bailey translate that.
I apologize.
Entonces, desafortunadamente, señora juez, no tenemos el expediente completo, solo tengo la información del historial de lo que es el récord de manejo de este acusado, pero no veo ningún otro delito similar a este en su pasado.
What's the bond recommendation?
$3,000 surety bond on the DUI, $500 surety bond on each remaining charge for a $4,500 surety bond total, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no driving without a valid license. Your Honor, this occurred at 835 Roswell Creek Lane in Roswell. He was making a left turn and almost hit an officer. And when he was pulled over, he had bloodshot eyes. and some other indicators that he was under the influence of alcohol. So he was subsequently arrested. And when they ran this information, they found his driver's license was suspended. Obviously, Your Honor, our biggest concern is that this presents a very real danger to the community, as he could have injured any number of people. And that's the basis of our recommendation on the offenses. Nothing further.
Entonces, este incidente ocurrió en el 835 de Roswell. Este individuo estaba tratando de doblar hacia la izquierda, casi que choca con un oficial de policía. El policía lo paró, tenía los ojos rojizos y otras pistas de que tal vez estaba embriagado. Entonces el oficial ahí fue que se dio cuenta que estaba manejando con la licencia cancelada o suspendida, y ahí es cuando el oficial lo puso bajo arresto. Entonces las condiciones de la fianza serían las siguientes: $3,000 a través de una compañía de fianza o en efectivo si es que usted decide hacerlo así. $3,000 para el DUI, 500 para cada uno de los delitos menores, por un total de 4,500, que lo puede pagar en efectivo o lo puede pagar a través de una compañía de fianza, y no puede seguir manejando sin licencia. Sería una de las condiciones de la fianza.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Chilel Francisco is 41 years old.
Okay. Ms. Bailey?
El señor Chilel Francisco tiene 41 años.
He has been here in Georgia for 16 years, and he has 3 minor children who are U.S. citizens, 14, 8, and 15 months.
Entonces, él ha estado viviendo en Georgia ya 16 años. Él tiene 3 niños menores de edad que son todos ciudadanos de los Estados Unidos, que tienen 14, 8 años y 15 meses.
He has been working at remodeling industry for last 12 years here in Georgia.
Él ha trabajado remodelando casas aquí en Georgia los últimos 12 años.
His the highest level of education is 2nd grade in the elementary school.
Él terminó hasta el 2º grado a nivel elemental.
Without any prior history, we would like to request for signature on bond.
Y como no tiene antecedentes ni ningún historial, queremos pedir una fianza bajo palabra.
If Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we would like to request for $1,000 surety bond. Thank you.
Si la juez no está de acuerdo en darle una fianza bajo palabra, lo que estamos pidiendo es que le otorgue una fianza de $1,000 en total.
Thank you. I see a prior DUI case assigned to Judge Edie, case number 18 CR 001-788Y, with regards to a DUI under the influence of alcohol and driving without a valid license. Incident date was June 19th, 2016.
Entonces, yo sí veo que tiene un antecedente, un primer DUI que lo procesó el juez Edwin en su tribunal. El número del caso es 18CR0017884. Fue por manejar sin licencia y manejar bajo los efectos de drogas o alcohol. Eso ocurrió el 19 de junio del 2016.
In Fulton County, he's got an open felony case, 22 CP 209826. Alleged incident date is May 17, 2020. Filed on June 12, 2022.
Entonces, y también el condado de Fulton tiene un caso abierto a nivel de felonía, a nivel de delito grave, que es el caso número 22 CP 826, de un incidente ocurrido el 17 de mayo del 2020, y eso fue arrestado, fue imputado el 12 de junio de este año por ese caso.
On the DUI, less safe is $2,000. The remaining charges are 1,000 each. Total bond is set at 5,000. It is a surety bond. Next court date is June 28th.
Entonces, la fianza que le voy a imponer es la siguiente. Por el DUI son $2,000. Por cada uno de los otros delitos es $1,000 cada uno, por un total de 5,000. Y la siguiente cita suya es el 28 de junio de este año.
No driving any vehicle unless he has a valid current US driver's license from any state and then this country. And also if it's permitted by Department of Driver Services.
Entonces, uno de los requisitos, una de las condiciones de su fianza es de no manejar únicamente que tenga una licencia válida de cualquier estado dentro de los Estados Unidos.
No illegal drugs, no alcohol consumption, no weapons, and no firearms.
No alcohol, no drogas, no puede portar ni usar ni tener en su posesión armas de fuego. Es otra condición de la fianza.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Gracias. Gracias, su señoría.
All right, courtroom 3, may we address Mr. Balmore Campos Santiago?
Entonces, en la sala número 3, si pueden poner, si puede acercarse, por favor, el señor Campos Santiago.
Mr. Camp, okay, Ms. Bailey, you've already been sworn. Mr. Balmore Campos Santiago is case number 22 CR 003759J. For a DUI incident arising from June 12, 2022.
Entonces, el señor Campos Santiago es el caso número 22-08707 y es un incidente que ocurrió ahora en junio de este año, el 2022.
Santiago is accused of driving under the influence of alcohol less safe, endangering a child by driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs, driving without a valid license, and improper or erratic lane change.
Entonces, los cargos que se han imputado en contra del señor Campos Santiago es de DUI, manejar bajo los efectos de drogas o alcohol, haber puesto en peligro el bienestar de un niño menor de edad, manejar sin licencia, y haber cambiado de carril de una forma inapropiada o insegura.
Santiago, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Any statements you make would be translated and those statements can and will be used against you. You have, you have a right to an attorney and your attorney is Ms. J. Kim.
Entonces, Santiago, tienes el derecho de permanecer en silencio. Cualquier declaración o cualquier cosa que usted diga será traducido, será interpretado y puede usarse en un futuro en su contra. Usted también tiene el derecho de la asistencia de una abogada y la señora Kim va a ser su abogada y lo va a representar hoy día.
Ms. Jackson, any priors on Mr. Santiago?
Your Honor, the defendant does not have any prior arrests on file.
Thank you.
Señora fiscal, señora Jackson, ¿el acusado tiene algún historial, algún antecedente criminal? La señora fiscal dice, señora juez, el acusado no tiene ningún arresto previo.
Ms. Brown, what is the state's recommendation?
Judge, the state's recommendation on this case is a $3,500 surety bond. That's $2,000 on the DUI, and I'm sorry, $4,000 surety bond. That's $2,000 on the DUI, $1,000 on the endangering a child, and then $500 on the driving without a license and the erratic lane change. No driving unless a valid U.S. driver's license, Judge. Primarily the basis for that is, although he doesn't have a record, is one thing, you know, DUI is a very serious charge, but it's even more concerning to be driving a vehicle without a license, without a valid license, and then to have a 2-year-old child in his lap and admitted to the officers upon being stopped that he had consumed 3 Bud Lights. That's very concerning. It's one thing to put, of course, his own life at risk, but it is totally serious and concerning to put a 2-year-old child's life at risk, Judge. And so for that reason, that's why we're asking for the $4,000 surety bond.
Entonces, señora Jackson, señora Brown, ¿cuál es su recomendación? Lo que estamos pidiendo, señora juez, es un total de $4,000 de fianza, serían $2,000 por el DUI, $1,000 por el de no licencia y $500 cada uno por los otros delitos. 2,000 era por lo del niño y 1,000 era por lo del niño, 500 por cada uno de los otros cargos. Como requisito, no manejar si no tiene licencia válida. Entonces, lo que me preocupa aquí, por más que no tenga antecedentes, que no tenga historial de arrestos, me preocupa que estaba manejando embriagado, sin licencia y con un niño de 2 años en sus piernas. Lo tenía en sus piernas, en la falda. Y él le dijo al policía, admitió que se había tomado 3 Bud Lights. Entonces, es una cosa poner su propia vida en peligro, pero es algo muy diferente poner en peligro la vida de un niño de esa edad. Entonces, por eso me parece muy peligroso su comportamiento y por eso estoy pidiendo esa cantidad de fianza.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Campos Santiago is 29 years old.
El señor Campos Santiago tiene 29 años.
He has been here in Georgia for the last 5 years.
Él ha estado aquí en Georgia los últimos 5 años.
He has 5 children. 4 of them are minors.
Tiene 5 hijos, 4 de ellos son menores de edad.
And he has been working at Fuller & Company for last 4.5 years.
Y ha estado trabajando en una compañía instalando pisos por los últimos 4 años y medio.
And his highest level of education has been 9th grade in high school.
Y el último año que él ha terminado en la escuela fue el 9º grado en lo que es la secundaria.
Pretrial services recommended for unsecured judicial relief. So we would like to recommend for signature on bond.
Entonces, la fiscalía ya dio su recomendación, su petición de lo que es la fianza. Nosotros estamos pidiendo una fianza bajo palabra.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Y eso es todo, su señoría.
On the DUI, it's going to be $1,000. The remaining charges are going to be $500 each. Total bond is going to be set at $2,500. This is a surety bond. No operating a motor vehicle unless he has a valid driver's license, adequate automobile insurance, and proper registration. No illegal drugs, no alcohol consumption, no weapons, and no firearms. Next court date is June 28th.
Entonces, la fianza que le voy a imponer es de $1,000 por el DUI, $500 por cada uno de los delitos menores, por un total de $2,500. Eso puede ser en efectivo si lo quiere pagar todo, o también puede ser a través. También puede ser a través de una compañía de fianza. Como un requisito de la fianza, no se le permite manejar si no tiene una licencia válida de cualquier estado de los Estados Unidos, una registración válida y el seguro válido en el carro que está manejando. No puede usar drogas, no puede usar alcohol, no puede tener armas de fuego en su posesión ni cerca suyo ningún tipo de arma. Esas son las condiciones de la fianza.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Gracias.
Judge, what was that DUI?
1,000
Okay, and the rest of them were 500
each. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any more folks in courtroom 3 to address? Courtroom 3, are we addressing anyone else?
Yes, Your Honor, we are. Come on up, young lady. We do have some more in courtroom 3. What's your name?
And
Ms. Wilder,
Ms. Wilder,
number
thank you.
32.
Thank you. Is there any other cases where we require a Spanish interpreter?
No, ma'am. Everyone else is
All right, Ms. Bailey, thank you very much. You are free to stay and observe, or you're free to go and enjoy the rest of the day.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
All right, you have a good one. Thank you. We have State versus Juanisha Wilder, case number 22 CR 003730J. And this is for a charge of criminal trespass stemming from a June 12, 2022 incident. Ms. Wilder, you have a right to remain silent. This is an announcement that applies to everyone in courtroom 3 as well as courtroom 2. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say about the facts of your case, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and Ms. Wilder, your counsel is going to be Ms. Kim, Ms. Gann, Ms. Cook. Who is counsel for Ms. Wilder? Ms. Cook?
Your Honor.
Okay. Oh, Ms. Cook, your audio is still not operating. You may have to use Ms. Gann's monitor again. Yep. No sound.
Your Honor, she will be on in a moment.
Okay. Do you have any clients in courtroom 3?
Position 15, Marquise Johnson.
He's right here.
And Miss Cook, PD Cook is here, Your Honor.
Okay, let's go ahead with Ms. Cook since I've already got a client in courtroom 3.
This is position 15, Mr. Johnson.
Good evening.
Hang on, folks. I already got Ms. Cook ready, so I'm going to go back to courtroom 3 for Ms. Wilder. Okay. All right, Ms. Wilder, you good? You're with us? Excellent. Thank you. All right. Ms. Jackson, what is Ms. Wilder's priors? Any?
The defendant has 16 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was June 6, 2021 for criminal trespassing and felony obstruction of an officer, and that was with the City of Atlanta Police Department. The defendant does appear to be on probation for obstruction of an officer. That case number is 21 SC 179560. That disposition date was February the 15th, 2022, and the term is for 2 years. The defendant does have a history of probation violations. There were 2 in 2020 and 2 in 2019. The defendant does have a prior felony conviction. It was in 2019 out of Cobb County for possession of cocaine. And the defendant does have misdemeanor convictions. There was 1 in 2020 for simple battery and 1 in 2018 for disorderly conduct, an additional 1 in 2018 for simple battery. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Harmon, Ms. Brown?
Yes, Judge. On this case, Judge, we're actually making a recommendation to increase. I think she currently has a 500 surety bond. We're asking that bond be increased to 1,000, Judge, primarily because of what you just heard and her risk of reoffending. Not only does she tend to not obey commands of the officer, but she also tends to resist and struggle with them, as she did in this case when they arrived out at 2075 Allison Court, and they spoke with the manager there, who indicated they didn't want her on behavior because she was acting erratically. And then when the officer tried to get her to leave, they ended up in a struggle where she resisted and they fell to the ground. She's on probation for obstruction with an officer. She has those probation violations, so we know that she tends not to obey court orders, Judge. So she's a risk to reoffend at this point, Judge, and we would ask that you increase that surety bond to $1,000, that you also issue a stay away from that location, which is 2075 Allison Court, and that there are no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
Thank you. Ms. Cook?
Yes, Your Honor. Despite my client's history, Your Honor, we're actually asking that you decrease it and allow Ms. Wilder to be giving unsecured judicial release. In this situation, what it boils down to, my client is 33 years old. She's lived in the Metro Atlanta area all her life. And she's just a victim of poverty, unfortunately. That's what this situation is all about. Based on the fact that she is currently on probation, there is a department who has her whereabouts and she has to check in. So for those reasons alone, again, the purpose of bond is not to punish a client, it's just to make sure that they show up for court. That's the whole point of bond. She still maintains her innocence in this case, so we're asking the court to give her unsecured judicial release.
Other purposes is to make sure they do not reoffend, for the protection of the community or protection of others. Under these circumstances, bond is going to be set at $1,000. It is a surety bond to stay away from the Stop and Shop at 2075 Allison Court in Atlanta, Georgia. There is an active criminal trespass warning against Ms. Wilder to stay away from that location as well. And now it is a condition of bond. Her next court date is going to be June 28th. And if she makes bond, she would need to update the court with her current mailing address. Thank you. Oh, no drugs and no illegal drugs and no weapons.
Position number 30, Your Honor, Ms.
Tinch.
Ms. Tinch.
State versus Melissa Yvette Tinch. Accused of, in case 22 CR 003-733Y, 1 count of simple battery domestic violence, 1 count of simple battery against a person who is 65 years or older or pregnant at the time of the offense. Alleged incident date is May 24, 2022. Ms. Tinch, you've been advised of your
Sorry, Judge.
That's okay. Ms. Tinch, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Cook, Ms. Gant?
Kim, Your Honor.
Kim, all right, Ms. Kim. Ms. Jackson, any priors with regards to Ms. Tinch?
The defendant does not have any prior arrests on file, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Brown?
Yes, Judge, our recommendation in this case is a 2,500 surety bond, no further contact with the victim in this case, which is Kiana Tinch. Stay away from the incident location, which is 1181 Oakland Lane, Southwest Apartment A, Judge. And the basis for that is, although she doesn't have any criminal history, there is some concern about perhaps intimidating a witness. We have a situation here where we have a victim that was approximately 8 months pregnant and was pushed and wrestling and had to attempt to fight back with her mother while being 8 months pregnant. That's very concerning, Judge, and we have concerns that she may attempt to intimidate this witness. So we would be asking for a surety bond in this case, Judge.
All right, and I beg your pardon. So the individual is also related?
The
victim is a parent?
The victim is the daughter of.
Okay, so the defendant is her mother?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Tinchy is 48 years old, and she has been here in Georgia all her life, except a few times when she was gone to Ohio. They live together, and she has adult children. However, she does not have a husband and somebody who can help her out in terms of bonding out of the jail. She has had a job about 3 months ago, and yesterday was her first day at her new job. And she's very afraid that she's going to lose a job if she does not get out of the jail today. Her education has been up to 10th grade in the high school, and she is recommended for unsecured judicial relief by pretrial services, and we would like to request for signature on bond so she can start her job at Mercury Hotel. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Tinch, your bond is going to be set at $3,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. You may return to the 1181 Oakland Lane apartment You may reside with Kiana Tinch if she still lives there, but you're to have no further violent contact with Kiana Tinch. I understand that she's carrying your grandchild. I think you have 1,000,001 reasons to make sure that you do not have any violent contact with her, which means no physical or verbal altercations. And if there are any physical or verbal altercations, your $3,000 signature bond will be revoked and converted to a surety or cash bond. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. You will attend a one-day anger awareness program with the pretrial services. Remember to report to pretrial once a month, and your next court date will be sent to you to the Oakland Lane address. Thank you.
Thank you.
Position number 13, Your Honor.
I have Tamara Brianna Grissom, 22 CR 003-750C, accused of theft by taking on June 12, 2022. Ms. Grissom, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any priors, Ms. Jackson? Sorry, Ms. Jackson.
Just a moment, please, Your Honor.
Judge, while she's going over that, back to position 30, there were 2 charges. And I noticed she got a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Was that $1,500 on each?
Oh, no, that was my fault. Just 1 second, please. On the battery, it's going to be 1,000. On the other battery charge, it's going to be 2,000.
Thank you.
Is that a total 6,000?
3,000.
Oh, total 3,000?
Yeah.
Thank you.
1 and 2.
Okay.
All right. Are we ready to proceed with Ms.
Ms.
Grissom?
Grissom. Right. The defendant has 7 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was November 18th, 2018, for a failure to appear. The underlying charge was not listed, and that was in Cobb County. The defendant does have a history of failure to appear. There were 2 in 2018, and the defendant does have misdemeanor convictions, 1 in 2019 for criminal trespassing, and 1 in 2018 for disorderly conduct. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your
I'm
Honor.
sorry. I'm so sorry. Ms. Harmon, sorry about that.
Yes, Your Honor. In the count for theft by taking, the state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond in this case. As you know, Your Honor, she was on the campus of Georgia Tech, which the warrant states is 725 Atlantic Drive. And there was some items stolen from like a backpack containing a laptop and other items that was reported stolen. The police did kind of catch up with her, identified her, and she did in fact admit to police that she took the backpack containing a laptop, and there was also a cell phone recovered. From what I could tell, Your Honor, the victim in that case is Muhammad Amin. So it's Muhammad, common spelling, and last name Amin, Amin. So we would recommend, Your Honor, in light of the FTAs and in light of the incident itself, that she would have a $2,500 surety bond for the theft by taking, to stay away from 725 Atlantic Drive on Georgia Tech's campus, no further contact with the victim in this case, Muhammad Amin, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, nothing further.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Grissom is 31 years old, and she has 1 child who is 12 years old. She's not married. She actually has studied at Columbus State. She was enrolled studying business management. However, this semester she's not enrolled because of financial challenges that she has been going through. She has not had a job. She is actually homeless right now. So she was just resting over there at Georgia Tech University. There was no intention to steal anything. It was more about she intended to return lost item to the appropriate officer or authority. And she has been going through financial difficulties, and we would like to request for a signature on bond as she has no means to pay for anything at this point. If Your Honor is not inclined to giving any signature on bond, we would like to request for $500 maximum surety bond, Your Honor. Thank you.
Bond is set at 500 surety bond to stay away from the entire campus of Georgia Tech or the Institute of Georgia Technology. No further contact with Mohammed Amin. And next court date is June 28th. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I have I have an add-on number 1. Ms. Fagan.
That's in courtroom 3?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Your Honor, can you hear me?
Yes, Ms. Cook.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Let me get to my add-on calendar. I'm sorry. Okay. And this is Miss Brittany Fagan, case number 22 CR 003763E. Ms. Fagan has been accused of battery from a June 13th, 2022, excuse me, from a June 12th, 2022 incident. And Ms. Fagan, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Kim. All right. Ms. Jackson, do we have any priors on Ms. Fagan?
Your Honor, the defendant does not have any prior arrests unfiled, nothing in addition.
No, thank you. Mr. Segura, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, sir. Yes, sir, go ahead.
The state's recommendation is a $5,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, a stay away from 2752 Macon Drive, Atlanta, no further contact with the victim, Ms. Sybil Allen, Sybil spelled S-Y-B-I-L, Allen, common spelling, and a one-time law enforcement escort to retrieve her belongings. Your Honor, the facts are pretty direct and to the point. This is a case in which the victim, Ms. Allen, told us that the defendant is the sister of her fiance and they both live together. In this case, the defendant pushed Ms. Allen due to some unknown cause in which she fell on the ground, fell on the pavement of a driveway, which resulted in a bleeding nose and mouth. Based on the hostility between these two individuals who live in the same residence, and we are concerned about her safety. Alongside, we spoke with Ms. Sybil, Ms. Allen, not that long ago, when she stated that she wants to have no contact, a stay away from the residence, and a one-time law enforcement escort. And we are concerned, since this only happened yesterday at 7 p.m., so we are concerned there's not long enough cooling off period. She told us that she would be on Zoom, but we don't see her Zoom page.
Oh, thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Fagan is 33 years old. And Your Honor, that place is actually estate of her mother. So her sister, her brother, and herself have been living there at that location, 2572 Macon Drive, for a long time. Her mother passed away December 2019, and Miss Ellen Sybil, who is a fiance of her brother, is the one who joined later. So I would like to object to stay away, since she does not have any other place to go to. She has one child who is 8 years old with autism, and he needs a lot of medical attentions and a lot of time from her. Because of that, she has not had a stable job, and yet she is waiting for TRC, temporary employment place. She passed the background check, and she's waiting for the assignment for a warehouse project that she's really looking forward to get the job so she can take care of her son. She has graduated from high school successfully, and I don't want her to be out of the house with her minor autism child at this point. We would like to request for signature on bond and even pre-trust services or is it recommended for unsecured judicial relief? Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, may I just clarify? So Sybil Allen is the alleged victim and she lives at the same property at Macon Drive.
She kind of joined in, I guess, later.
Joined in later? Has she been living there for more than 30 days?
That I do not know, Your Honor.
If she's been living there for more than 30 days, then the only way she can be removed is through a dispossessory action. I can't unilaterally have Miss Allen, the alleged victim, removed from the property. And that is the dilemma of this current situation. And the other dilemma is the fact that this is an alleged violent offense and Miss Fagan cannot have any contact with Miss Allen. And since Miss Fagan has been the one charged with a crime, the bond is going to be set at $3,500. It is a signature bond through pretrial services. She's to have no further contact with Sybil Allen, and she cannot return to the 2572 Macon Drive location in Atlanta, Georgia. She may return one time only with a police officer to retrieve her child, as well as her personal belongings. Within 30 days of being released, she must update the court with her new address where we can send notices of her next court date.
Your Honor, if she's successful to evict Miss Ellen, can she return back home?
If she can return to the property as long as Miss Allen no longer resides at that location.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Right. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. And she will report to pretrial once a month. And if she violates any of the conditions of the bond, a warrant will have to be issued and her bond will be revoked. Thank you.
Could we also add one-day anger wellness?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, she will attend and complete a one-day anger awareness program as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Courtroom 3, do you have any more cases from the add-on or the calendar?
No, ma'am, I'm finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Courtroom 2, I'm sorry, who do we have in the seat?
This is position number 15, Mr. Johnson.
Good evening, Your Honor.
Good evening. We have Mr. Marquise Johnson, case 22 CR 0037538. Mr. Johnson has been accused of simple assault, domestic violence, and criminal trespass, domestic violence from a June 12, 2022 incident. Mr. Johnson, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Wanda Gant. Any priors with regards to Mr. Johnson?
The defendant has 6 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was September 3rd, 2017 for a DUI, and that was in Henry County. That charge was amended to reckless driving. The final disposition was not listed in the GCIC. The defendant does have prior misdemeanor convictions, one in 2017 for driving without a valid license, and one in 2016 for driving without a valid license, an additional one in 2016 for disorderly conduct. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Harmon, what's your recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. On the simple assault, the state would recommend $2,000 surety bond. On the criminal trespass damage to property, $1,000 surety bond. Your Honor, as you well know, they were at the location at 789 Hammond Drive, apartment 2309. So we would be asking for a stay away as well. No further contact with the victim, Nicole Hardaway, in this case, Your Honor, because we were concerned with the incident, alleged facts that he threw household items at the victim, including one that appeared to be like a bottle, and the victim was dodging the items, and she kind of impaled her earring into the back of her ear. So it seemed like a pretty dangerous episode. We were able to talk to the victim in this case, and she said that they are in a relationship and they live together, but they don't have any children. She says that she does fear the defendant, and this is the first time violence has ever escalated to this point. She did say she wants no violent contact, and she would like for the defendant to return home. And she indicated that she would be on the the Zoom. What concerns me the most, Your Honor, from that statement is that she does fear the defendant. And so if she's afraid of him, then I'm afraid of what he will do if he does return home and he does have contact with her. That is extremely concerning that she expressed that she is fearful of him. So we would ask that you would keep them in a state of no further contact and that he would be ordered to stay away from the incident location along with the recommended bond amounts that I previously discussed. Thank you.
I do see a Nicole Hardaway on the Zoom. If she'd like to address the court, she would need to start her video and unmute the screen. Otherwise, she has every right not to say anything if she chooses to do so. All right, Ms. Hardaway, would you like to address the court?
Yes.
All right, please raise your right hand. Your other right hand. Your right hand. Is that your, yeah, that's the right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Do you live at the Hammond Drive location?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And does Mr. Johnson reside at the same location?
Yes.
All right. I had a different address for him, so I wasn't sure. All right. And would you like to maintain contact with him? I'm sorry,
what did you say?
you're moving around, so can you stay in one location with adequate lighting? Because I don't see you right now. There we go. No? Okay. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, I would like for him to be able to come home with a surety bond. I mean, not a surety bond, I'm sorry, a signature bond.
All right. Anything else?
And I'm not fearful of him.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Marquise Johnson is 28 years old. He has been in the Atlanta area since the age of 16. He informs me that he is the proud father of 2 children, a 1-year-old and a 7-year-old. He does not share children with Ms. Hardaway, the complaining witness. However, he does pay child support and has joint custody of his children. Mr. Johnson is a high school graduate. He also has an associate's degree. He obtained that degree from Atlanta Tech in the Europe program. He also plans to re-enroll at Gordon State College to continue his pursuit of collegiate education. He is currently employed as a digital freight broker with Convoy. He is due today. He has been in that position for the past 4 years. Your Honor, my client denies the allegations. He denies throwing any objects toward the complaining witness, Ms. Hardaway. I did have the occasion to speak with Ms. Hardaway, and as she told you on the line, she wants to continue having contact with him, as does my client. Therefore, regarding bond, I am requesting a signature bond. We did not hear about any violent convictions whatsoever. His last contact with law enforcement was in 2017 for a driving offense. Again, Your Honor, we are opposed to the stay away. Mr. Johnson informs me that he lives there and that he does not have an alternate address. I would ask the court for a no violent contact order, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. And his job, I'm not sure, Ms. Gant, was that a job that keeps him on the road? Does he travel a lot?
I believe, and we'll have to clarify with my client, I believe he informed me that he works from home, Your Honor. Is that the case, Mr. Johnson?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. On the simple assault, it's going to be 2,500, and the criminal trespass is going to be 1,000. Total bond is 3,500. It's a signature bond through pretrial services. No further violent contact with Ms. Nicole Hardaway. He may return to the location at Hammond Drive. No illegal drugs, no alcohol consumption, and no weapons and no firearms. He will report to pretrial once a month. He will be subject to random screens for illegal drugs and or alcohol. And as I said, no further violent contact with Ms. Hardaway, which means that no physical and verbal altercations with Ms. Hardaway. If there are any such altercations, you could end up facing felony charges and remain in jail with no bond. While you are out on a signature bond, you will enroll and complete a 6-month domestic violence intervention program. You will pay for the classes each week. You must enroll in that program within 60 days of being released. And you must complete that program while you are out on bond. Thank you. Your next court date will be sent to you.
And again, Your Honor, I have the same concerns, no prior convictions. I'm concerned about his ability to pay for that, Your Honor, pay for the classes, Your Honor.
Objections noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, what was the bond amount for the criminal trespass?
1,000.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Position 20, Myrick.
We have DeAndre Myrick, middle initial Silas, middle name Silas, accused of DUI under the influence of alcohol, less safe, no automobile insurance, driving without a valid license, and driving a vehicle on a suspended, canceled, or revoked registration. Alleged incident date is June 12, 2022. Case number is 22 CR 003738F. Mr. Myrick, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. Ms. Jackson, any priors on Mr. Myrick?
The defendant has 9 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was February the 19th, 2014 for a probation violation. The underlying charge was criminal interference with government property, and that was in DeKalb County, Georgia. The defendant does have 1 prior felony conviction. It was in 2013 for interference with government property. And the defendant does have misdemeanor convictions. There was one in 2013 for battery and disorderly conduct, and one in 2009 for giving false information to an officer. Additional one in 2009 for simple battery, family violence, and theft by taking. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Brown?
Yes, Judge. I believe he has, if I read correctly, he may have a 3,500 surety bond. If that's the case, Judge, we would be asking for that bond to stay the same, primarily, Judge, because of what we've heard from pretrial services regarding his history, his probation violations. I believe on his driving record, he has at least 6 FTAs there, Judge. So there are some concerns about his ability to come back to court, as well as him a risk to reoffend, Judge. And so if there's 3,500 surety, Judge, we would ask that that bond remain the same.
And Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to request for a signature on bond as pretrial services recommended for unsecured judicial relief. He's been having some financial challenges lately. Right now, he considers himself as homeless. We would like to request for the lowest possible surety bond if Your Honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond. He has 1 child who is 7 years old that he has to take care of, and he's been working as a metal maker for car parts. However, it has been very challenging financially. His highest level of education is 12th grade, and again, we would like to request for signature on bond. Thank you.
All right.
Judge, if I may just add one more thing.
Yes, Ms. Brown.
For my basis for the bond. In addition, Judge, we would just add that he's a danger to the community, and that the officer found him asleep behind the wheel with the Colt 45 in the car. And at the time the officer tried to speak with him, he was very irate and not very responsive to officers, Judge. So we would just add that as a basis of our 3,500 requests.
And the Colt 45 referring to an alleged open can of beer, is that correct?
Yes, a beer, Judge, not a weapon.
Yes, just to clarify. Okay.
Yes, yes.
On the DUI, it's going to be $1,000 surety bond. On the remaining charges, they're going to be $1,000 each, signature bond through the jail. Total bond is going to be $4,000 split bond. Let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep.
That's correct.
Condition to the bond is no illegal drugs, no alcohol consumption, no weapons and no firearms, and no driving, no being parked in a car that is allegedly still operating, that's on. You can sleep in a parked car that is not on. Yes, Mr. Myrick, what would you like to say?
Mr. Myrick, I strongly recommend you stay silent. You have every right to remain silent to protect yourself.
Yes, ma'am, but I was just trying to let you know that the vehicle is not on, period. That's all.
The sworn testimony of the police officer who swore the warrant. I approached the vehicle to ensure that no one was inside. While approaching the vehicle, I observed a male subject asleep at the wheel with the vehicle's engine still running in the park position. I also observed an open Colt 45 beer can in the canister console cup holder. All right. So $4,000 split bond, no driving unless you have a valid driver's license, or adequate insurance, and a valid current registration on the vehicle in which is being operated. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next court date is June 28th. Thank you.
Next, we have position number 19, Mr. Jerry Lowe.
Mr. Lowe has been accused of battery from May 31st, 2021, in case number 22 CR 003757J. Mr. Lowe, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is Ms. Kim. Ms. Jackson, any priors, please?
The defendant has 14 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was March the 25th, 2022, for driving while license suspended or revoked for reckless conduct and fleeing or attempting to elude an officer. The defendant does appear to be on probation for possession of a firearm or a knife during commission of a felony. That case number is 17 SC 151645. That disposition date was January the 11th, 2018, and the term is for 5 years. Also, that's a first offender probation, Your Honor. The defendant does have prior misdemeanor convictions. There was one in 2018 for driving without a valid license, and the defendant received a nolo contendere sentence in 2017 for criminal trespassing. Nothing in addition.
Thank you. Ms. Brown.
Yes, Judge. On this case, we would be asking for a $2,000 surety bond, a stay away from 51480 National Highway, and no further contact with Jeremiah is Jeremia Durant, Durant. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Judge, what's concerning in this case is a random act of violence. I mean, he goes to churches with I'm assuming his girlfriend. He's mad because she's the manager of churches and she's going in because of her role as a manager, and the person that's working there gets into an altercation with some other unidentified person. And just because he's angry that he goes there with his girlfriend, he joins in and randomly attacks that person, which turns out to be the victim, Jeremiah Durant, Judge. In doing so, he joins in as someone else is attacking that person by punching him and kicking him. He had a cut to his eyebrow, a knot on his forehead, and bruising to his stomach area. As you've heard, he's on probation for an aggravated assault that included a weapon. He just had a probation violation last in 2020, I believe, on that case. So there's various concerns about him being a danger to the community, and that his crime of choice tends to be violence, and that he would be a danger potentially to this victim in this case, Judge. So we would be asking for that $2,000 surety bond, Judge, and all the other conditions mentioned.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Lowe is 23 years old, and this incident happened on May 31st, 2021. There has been enough cooling time. They don't live together. They don't have to see each other. We have no objection in terms of like no further contact. Mr. Lowe had to drop out of his high school when he was going through 11th grade because he has 10 children that he has to take care of. So he's got a lot of responsibility. He has been working hard at Church's Chicken for the last 6 years. He want to keep his job. We would like to request for a signature on bond. If your honor is not inclined to give him a signature on bond, we would like to request for a very low surety bond of $250. He does need every penny to take care of his 10 children, your honor. Thank you.
I'm going to keep the same bond, $1,000 surety bond. No further contact with Jeremiah Durant, Jermia Durant. I don't know if he works at that same location at 5148 Old National Highway. Does he work there, Ms. Kim?
I do not think so, your honor.
All right.
I would like to double check with Mr. Lowe. Does he work with you?
No, ma'am.
Thank you.
So he needs to stay 200 yards. That's the length of 2 football fields, 200 yards away from the Church's Chicken at 5148 Old National Highway in College Park, Georgia. If he needs to drop his girlfriend off at work, make sure that you drop her off at least 200 yards away from that location and not at the restaurant. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. And if you make bond, your next court date will be sent to you at your current address. So make sure we have your current address. Otherwise, your next court date is going to be June 28th. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, that was $1,000 good bond?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. Position 27, Stephens. You want to write it?
Justin Stevens, middle name Lamarcus, case number 22 CR 003-747D, accused of simple battery domestic violence, allegedly on June 11th, 2022. Mr. Stevens, you have been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Tamisha Cook.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any priors, Ms. Jackson?
Defendant has 16 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was May the 12th, 2021 for burglary in the 2nd degree, and that was in Tift County, Georgia. The defendant appears to have an open case pending for the violation of the Georgia RICO Act and burglary, and that's in Floyd County, Georgia. Also, the defendant appeared to be on probation for 2 counts of burglary and criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree. That disposition date was January the 18th, 2019. 2 years of confinement and 3 years of probation, and that case is in Cobb County. The defendant does appear to have a prior felony conviction that was in 2019 in Oconee County for burglary in the 2nd degree. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Ms. Brown?
Yes, Judge. On this case, we are asking for, state is asking for 2,500 surety. No further violent contact with his mother in this case. And the concern that we have, Judge, in hearing about his criminal history is he does have that RICO out of Floyd County, which although the disposition isn't on his GCIC, it appears that he may be on probation for that case. And then he had a case that he picked up while in Telfair County, which I believe was probably in the Telfair State Prison, that was subsequently dismissed, Judge. So there's a concern there for him to reoffend, Judge. There's concern that he's a danger to the community, given that he has 16 cycles. So we believe that based on the fact that, in a fit of rage, he basically knocked pictures off the wall, which struck his mother and caused lacerations to her top and bottom lip. Based on that and his history, Judge, we believe 2,500 surety is sufficient. No further violent contact with mother. with his mother, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, thank you. Ms. Cook, before we address you, would you permit Ms. Stevens to go first, or I can let you go first? What would you like to do?
Your Honor, you can let her go first.
All right. I see Felicia Stevens on the Zoom. Would you like to address the court, or you also have a right to not say anything? Miss Felicia, can you unmute your screen?
Mute. I'm here.
Good, good. Did you want to say something?
Yes.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you provide will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. And what would you like to tell us?
Yes, it was Saturday. My son ain't never acted toward violent to me or anything because we stayed together. No, we stayed together. He's my baby son, and him and his girlfriend had came over with her son, and my other son was here. And I was sitting at my table preparing.
I'm sorry. I don't want her to give a narrative. I just want you to ask the questions as to whether or not she wants to have contact. Is she afraid of him, etc.?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not afraid of him because we stayed together. He helped pay bills here. No, I'm not afraid of him.
And Judge, if I may respond, I believe that any testimony that Ms. Stevens may have as it relates to the incident may go towards the Ayala factors, which touches on whether or not he is a risk to reoffend, one, and whether or not he's a risk to intimidate any witnesses, Judge. So I ask that she be allowed to be heard.
I agree, Ms. Brown, but at this juncture, I have a warrant with sworn testimony from the officer, so I'm going to take that into consideration. But so, Miss Stevens, you're not afraid of him?
No, ma'am, I'm not. We stayed together. He helped me pay my bills and everything. And so there was a one-time accident. I guess when him and his girlfriend had got into it, and when she left, and so he just got his hand to just put get the pictures off the wall like that. And one of them hit me, and I know he didn't mean to hit me intentionally. The picture struck me, not him, because he had never done that before.
Well, that's the sad part. You do realize he's on felony probation in Floyd County, right?
Yes.
And while he's
I didn't know he was on felony probation. I know.
Well, I am letting you know that.
Uh-huh.
And he's got a probation hold. And he's not supposed to be involved in circumstances like that while he's on probation. Bond is set at $1,000. It is a surety bond. He may return to Campbellton Road, Southwest Atlanta, and have no further violent contact with Felicia Stevens, which means, Mr. Stevens, that once you return to stay with mom, there cannot be any physical or verbal altercations in which Ms. Stevens gets involved and gets injured. Otherwise, you are back in jail. Do you understand? Unfortunately, once you are released on bond, you will have to be transported. Floyd County will have to come pick you up to address your probation hold.
Can I say something?
I'm sorry. Can I be heard?
Just one second. Just one second. Who wants to be heard?
Ms. Cook, on behalf
I do apologize. Cook, yeah, you're absolutely right. It was getting late in the hour. I thought I already heard you, but that was your objection. So, all right, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, hopefully some of this will sway your decision, Your Honor. But as you've heard from his mom, he has never acted this way in the past. No violent tendencies towards her whatsoever. She's not afraid of her son. They do live together, and I believe have been living together. And she wants him to return. It's my understanding he has his own landscaping business that he's had for some time, and that income does help his household. I believe, Your Honor, that this is an isolated incident in terms of violence. He does have a hold in Floyd County. I'm sorry if my understanding, I didn't have an understanding that he was on probation in Floyd County. I think he has a hold because he missed court due to the notice not getting to him one time. That is my understanding of why he has a hold in Floyd County, not that he's on probation. So that's just to clarify that. And what we would be asking, Your Honor, is to allow him a signature bond so he could go to Floyd County to take care of that matter. And then hopefully in the near future, he'll be able to get out and get back to his family and get back to work. That's
Oh, well, this is pretty much a summary of what Miss Stevens told me. So the bond still remains at $1,000 with the distinction that he's not on probation in Floyd County.
That is my understanding, Your Honor.
Okay, but he's got a Floyd County hold.
Yes, for missed court date. He didn't get notice.
Oh, okay. Well, then he still has to remain at the Fulton County Jail and they would need to come and pick him up. So his bond will be a release to Floyd County authorities only. All right. Thank you.
Position 28, Sawyer.
28, okay. Oh, and Mr. Stevens' next court date is June 28th, if he's not picked up yet. Nicholas Stoyer is accused of DUI, less safe, under the influence of alcohol, failure to maintain lane or improper lane change, and possession of an open alcohol container from a June 12, 2022 incident, case number 22 CR 003-751H. Mr. Stoyer, you've been advised of your right to remain silent and your attorney is Ms. Cook. Any priors, Ms. Jackson?
The defendant does not have any prior arrest on file, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. Brown?
Yes, Judge, the recommendation for bond in this case is a $2,000 surety bond. When the officer pulled him over on or about Abbott's Bridge Road, looks like he had 2 Jai a la pale beers and the cup holder on the driver's side door, Judge. Based on that, our recommendation is $2,000 surety and no driving unless he has a U.S. driver's license and or permit to drive.
All right. Yeah, and I don't see warrants in this case. Did y'all have warrants? I just see a JCPD UTC uniform citation. Unless. This happened on June 12th, so that would be yesterday. Let me see, what time was he booked in? He's been in custody for 2 days and I still don't see one.
Let me check. I have, let's see. I see it in, oh, wait a minute. I'm looking at the wrong person. I'm sorry.
Mr. Walker, do you see any warrants?
I'm sorry, I've been listening. What position is this, Your Honor?
28, Mr. Stoyer. I
give me
see
2
3
seconds.
JCPD citations.
1, 2.
Guess they forgot to get the warrants, unless you have it.
1 second, I'll double check.
And Judge, if I may, I know my rights, but I still like.
I'm sorry, Mr. I would advise
Go
you
ahead, please do so. Thank you.
to remain silent, okay?
And yes, sir, I'm glad you know your rights. And I'm going to let you speak as soon as I get an answer on this one question I have.
Okay, sure, of course.
So, Mr. Walker, Ms. Brown, can we agree no warrants were issued in this case?
I believe Mr. Walker is
Hey, I'm here. Can you guys see me?
Yes.
So yeah, I don't see the warrants. I only see citations, but as you know, Your Honor, this case has been accused. Accusation would supersede any warrant, so we will just proceed as the charges have been accused. But to answer your question, no, I don't see any warrants. As you're aware, we've been having issues with Odyssey today, and the citations have been the only thing that have been uploaded so far.
Well, so you never even received anything from 2 days ago? This case is from.
Well, we received the citations. I didn't say we didn't receive anything, but we have received the citations, and that is what we based our accusations on, and we have accused this case. As you know, an accusation would supersede any warrant.
Well, the accusation keeps the case alive and well. I totally agree with you. But the case is Riverside, so unless I have a warrant that was issued within the last 48 hours, the bonds are going to be set at $1,000 on each count. It's going to be a signature bond through the jail. So, sir, this is, as I was saying, this is an active DUI case against you, but your bond is a $3,000 signature bond through the jail, and your next court date will be sent to you at your current address. Did you still want to say something and risk the chance of incriminating yourself? Mr. Stoyer?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you.
I would just say, Your Honor, I just reviewed Odyssey. It looks like, I understand it says 2 days, but it says he actually was booked in yesterday.
Yeah.
He's been in custody with the Johns Creek PD and then transferred from Alpharetta to Wright Street. They hold him there and then they're transported from the facility there. I don't know, that's the standard procedure. So that's all I have. But anyways, it's still Riverside. He's been in custody for 2 days. This is from a June 11th incident, June 12th.
I hear you, but I'm showing the arrest at 6.
Do you want me to hold him till tomorrow at 2 o'clock and you'll get a warrant?
I mean, that's fine, but I'm just letting you know, per Odyssey, it says he was arrested on 6/12, so I'm not sure how you're saying
right.
that.
You're right. The
It was
arrest
48
date was
hours. That's all I'm saying.
Again, I'm going to ask you, will you get a warrant?
I could certainly request it, Your Honor. I'm just letting you know what I see on Odyssey, that he was arrested yesterday, so I'm not sure how we got to the 48-hour.
No, you're right. I thought it was June 11th.
I understand. I understand. It's been a day, but I just like to perfect the record. I do not believe it's been 48 hours. I know that it's 5:17 p.m., but I just like to reflect. I understand he went to Alpharetta or Johns Creek PD, but I'm showing the arrest date of yesterday around 5 p.m. So
no, you're right. I'm corrected.
Okay, so
It's
I would
been
just
less
ask
than
that.
48 hours. So if you think you can get a warrant by 2 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, and I would certainly request that, and I would ask that, that Ms. Brown is heard on her bond argument and that a surety bond would be issued once you heard her argument. But I'm not so certain this would be Riverside, seeing how he was taken into custody right around 24 hours yesterday.
No, I already been
Okay.
corrected. I've been
Okay.
corrected. It's not 48 hours.
Okay, so with that being said, I'll let Ms. Brown proceed, and I would just ask that you would reconsider your previous decision, Your Honor.
Francois, I'm sorry. Please bring Mr. Sawyer back. It was my bad. I made a mistake.
It's late in the evening, so.
We're not gonna, I don't want to appear tired, so let me, Ms. Brown, what did you want to argue? Now, remember, there are no warrants right now.
Yes, Judge. I believe I did get a chance to ask the court for a 2000.
Remember, there are no warrants right now. I can only do a signature bond through the jail.
Well, then if I would just ask for a 1,000, if the court is going to issue a signature bond, 1,000 on each count, Judge.
That's what she did.
That's what I did. $1,000 signature
what she
bond
did.
through the jail.
Well, I was asking for a surety bond, but I mean, if so.
We're asking for the surety bond.
Yes.
I understand your ruling, Your Honor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Stoyer, same ruling.
All right, Gordon. Position 22, Osby.
Try to stay around and wait.
22. Okay. Derek Osby accused of simple assault, simple battery at a public transit vehicle or station on June 8th, 2022. Mr. Osby, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and your attorney is going to be Ms. Cook. Ms. Jackson, any priors on Mr. Osby?
The defendant has 9 cycles. The defendant's last arrest was October the 14th, 2019 for domestic battery, felony, and criminal. Doesn't say. But anyway, that was in Indianapolis. There was no disposition for that arrest. The defendant does have an outstanding hold out of Ohio for a failure to appear. The date on that warrant was November the 5th, 2018. And there were no convictions listed in the GCIC on her.
All right, thank you. Ms. Brown?
Yes, Judge. The state's recommendation on is for the bond to remain the same. I believe it's a 4,000 surety bond. In this case, Mr. Osby basically approached and yelled some profanities at Mr. Durham and then subsequently kicked him in the College Park MARTA station. I believe he looks like he may have had some arrests out of Mississippi. I don't know if that's correct, but given that he has some things going on in multiple states, he's definitely a flight risk, Judge, and he doesn't appear to have any ties to the community. He's a risk to reoffend, Judge, and he's a danger to the community. When you're in a public transit station and you're randomly attacking random strangers, you're definitely a danger. So we would just ask for the 4,000 surety bond to remain the same. And no further contact with Anthony Durham, and a stay away from the College Park MARTA station, Judge. And important to note that this incident was apparently captured on MARTA surveillance.
Ms. Cook?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Osby is 41 years old. He's been in the Atlanta metro area for a little over a year. He does have ties to the community in that he's employed at Corner Cuts Barbershop in East Point. And he does have an 11-year-old son that he supports, pays child support to. I don't usually get into the specifics of the case, but in this particular incident, I do think it's important for the court to be aware that although he does not know the complaining witness personally, it's my understanding that he was acting in self-defense in this particular incident. As far as the previous arrest mentioned, I want the court to be very clear that he was not convicted of that incident that occurred October 14th of 2019. And it's my understanding that that pending matter out of Ohio is for a disorderly conduct. And it's my understanding that Fulton County has already confirmed that Ohio does not want to come get Mr. Osby. So for those reasons, Your Honor, he does plan to stay here and remain in the Atlanta metro area. He has an address where notices can be sent. Putting a stay away or no contact with the victim would be sufficient for him to not be a risk to others. We would be asking for an unsecured judicial release, or if the court is not inclined to do that, a very low surety bond.
Bond set at $1,000 on each count. That's a $2,000 surety bond with a release to any existing holds. If he has no holds, then he can be released on his own, but it's a $2,000 surety bond. No further contact with Anthony Durham, and to stay away from the College Park MARTA station in accordance with any active suspensions at the present time. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, and no weapons. Next court date will be June 28th.
All right, you're done. Position 21, Nettles. No.
Is that Mr. Nettles? Okay, Mondrian Nettles is accused of misdemeanor possession of marijuana less than 1 ounce. Alleged incident date is June 11th, 2021. Mr. Nettles, you've been advised of your right to remain silent, and you have counsel who is Ms. Cook. Ms. Brown, what's your bond recommendation?
The bond recommendation on this is 2,000 surety. It looks like 4 small bags, 23 grams of weed was found in addition to At least looks like 2 guns, one that was found on the rear seat and one in the bag where the drugs were located. Looks like he was laying drags at that location, 3478 Lakeside Drive.
Whoa.
Oh, sorry.
What has he been charged with? Does he have an open felony case?
For Mr. Nettles,
Yeah,
it looks like he doesn't have any history, Judge.
no history. And has he been charged with laying drag or a possession of a firearm under a person of age of 18 or?
No, Judge,
Just,
I don't believe he's under 18, Judge. It looks, we just charged him with the possession of marijuana.
And you all have more charges coming up?
Judge, this case will definitely be reviewed for the laying drags. Looks like there were more than one incidents of him laying drags. As for the gun charges, Judge, I mean, if he looks like he doesn't have any prior convicted felony, so I don't know if we can proceed on the gun charges, Judge. But what I will say is, even though he doesn't have any felony convictions, it is or should be some concern for him to have 23 grams of weed and have more than one firearm in a car with him. Looks like he had one in the back seat that had a bullet in the chamber, and then he had another gun in the bag with the weed, Judge. So that is very concerning, and that he's out there laying drags. So I mean, I know the bond seems a bit high, but it is a situation of concern when you have 23 grams of weed and 2 or 3 guns on your person or about your person.
I understand, but he's not charged with any firearms offenses. He's not charged with any traffic offenses. He's charged with misdemeanor possession of marijuana.
Yes.
Just under an ounce, which is still the law. So it's 500 signature bond through the jail. Mr. Nettles, this is an open active case against you. It's a $500 signature bond through the jail. No illegal drugs in Georgia. Marijuana is still illegal. No weapons, no firearms. So you cannot have any weapons and firearms on your person, in your home, anywhere near you. And your next court date will be sent to you at your current address. I have a Beaufort, Georgia address. Is that your current address? Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Come on, Foster. Position, he's an add-on, position 2, Foster.
Wyatt Junior.
All righty, let me get to Mr. Foster is case number 22 CR 00. Oh, was it 003-765F? And Mr. Foster has been charged with a misdemeanor offense on June 12, 2022. Mr. Foster, you've been accused of a misdemeanor offense. I don't know what is there to smile about, but you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say, your statements can and will be used against you. You have a right to an attorney, and representing you is Ms. Kim. Ms. Kim, have you informed your client of the charge brought against him?
Yes, Your Honor. Public
All right.
indecency.
Oh, wave sounding. We never mentioned those charges. All right, thank you. All right, okay. Ms. Jackson, any priors on Mr. Foster?
The defendant has 21 cycles out of Florida. The defendant's last arrest was February the 22nd, 2021, for a charge associated with the CWAG. Those charges were dismissed, and that was in Tampa, Florida. The defendant does have felony convictions out of Florida, one in 2016 for possession of a weapon, and one in 2011 for robbery. And there was one misdemeanor conviction. It was in 2016. It's out of Florida as well, for obstruction of an officer. Nothing in addition, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Segura, yes, sir. Without mentioning the offense, what's your bond recommendation? I've read the warrant. I'm familiar with the facts or the alleged facts of the warrant.
The state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. and a stairway for the incident location, which is 3107 Peachtree Road, Atlanta. The main concerns are the risk of reoffending because, as the warrant noted, he was charged by another officer for this similar incident, this similar charge, 9 days ago on June the 4th, 2022. Our concern is also a danger to the community because, aside from reoffending, we're concerned that he did this act on Sunday at 11 a.m. in the morning. Therefore, he could have been seen by kids, children, adults, women, anyone. Alongside, we are concerned about his lack of community ties, especially since he does have a lengthy Florida record, the most recent conviction being 2016 for concealed weapon. Alongside, even though it was dismissed, his most recent arrest was in 2021. So we're concerned that he does have a multi-state arrest, and he was in Florida recently. So we're concerned they could just flee when he is released. Thank you.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Foster is 30 years old, and we are actually recommending for social worker services, and he's not home. He does not have a financial
challenge.
Yes, residentially challenged, and he does not have a children, no family members to support him or to bond him out right now. He does not have a job. We would like to request for signature on bond, and yet, if Your Honor believes that it's not inclined to be awarded, we would like to request for $250 minimum surety bond. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Bond is set at $1,500. It is a surety bond to stay away from the park at across the street from 3107 Peachtree Road in Atlanta, Georgia. No illegal drugs, no weapons, no firearms. And his next court date is June 28th. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Amen. Thank you.
Judge, going back to position 22, Mr. Osby, was that 2,000 each good bond or the total is 4,000?
1,000 each.
2,000 each?
1,000. 1,000.
1,000 each. Okay. We have Mr. Wyatt, add-on position 3.
I have Wyatt, position 3, add-on. Is that him?
Yes.
Jury Wyatt Jr.
This is Mr. Wyatt Jr., case number 22 CR 0037648. Oh gosh, can't read my own writing, so give me a second. Mr. Wyatt, his case number for incident date from June 12, 2022, accused of battery, domestic violence. And Mr. Wyatt, you've been advised of your right to remain silent. Your attorney is going to be Ms. Kim. And Ms. Jackson, any priors on Mr. Wyatt?
The defendant has one cycle. The defendant's last arrest was September the 11th, 2019 for reckless conduct, and that was in Clayton County, Georgia. There was no disposition for that arrest, Your Honor, and there are no convictions listed in the GCIC.
Thank you. Mr. Segura, yes, sir.
The state's recommendation is a $3,000 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, and weapons, a no further contact with the victim, Ms. Kenyana Powell. Kenyana, spelled Kenyanna, Powell, common spelling, and a third-party transfer of the children. As Honor knows, this incident occurred when the defendant grabbed Ms. Powell by her hair, slammed her into the concrete, and then dragged her through the concrete, resulting in visible injury. Because of this, we are concerned about her safety, and as we were able to speak with Ms. Powell earlier today, not that long ago, when she said they do not live together, they are not in a relationship, but they do share 2 children. She also stated that she must have no contact with the defendant. She already has a stay order from her residence, which is different from the incident location. And she also does want to have the third-party transfer of the children. Thank you.
Okay, so have you all NOD'd the cruelty charge?
We did. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just the battery, family violence. And you're saying that she does not live at the Niles Avenue location?
What she told us was that the incident location was the street across from the defendant's home, but she also wants to stay away from her own home, which is a different location.
Okay, understood. Thank you. And these are the two children that she shares with Mr. Wyatt, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Zion and Kingston. The incident happened at 12.
Please, Mr. Wyatt, you have a right to remain silent. We don't want to hurt your case. Let me do my job and then you can call me.
No problem. Is this Kim, right? I was supposed
Yes,
to.
this is Miss Kim.
Kim.
Oh, no.
Go ahead, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. White is 25 years old and they do not live together. And actually he resides with his grandma. And they do have two children, 4 years and 5 months old. He was born and raised here and he is trying his best to support his children. And yet, because he has been out of job, it has been very challenging for him to do so financially. We would like to, hello, Mr. Wyatt, let me finish.
It's not him, it's somebody else in the courtroom and they need to learn to keep quiet.
Okay.
Hang on. The gentleman back there in a black t-shirt.
Just wondering why.
Mr. Stoyer. Quiet.
No, it's not him. It's with somebody else.
Everyone in that courtroom be quiet and let Ms. Kim talk.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Kim, I'm sorry about that. You were saying?
Yes. So we would like to request for a signature on bond as pretrial services or so recommended for unsecured judicial relief so he can take care of his children. Thank you, Your Honor.
And may I clarify, he lives at Niles Avenue?
Yes, Your Honor.
And
1257.
And where do the children live?
I believe they live with his mom.
Which is not in that location.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Bond is going to be set on the battery charge with $5,000. It's going to be a signature bond through pretrial services. He's to have no further contact with Kenyana Powell. He's to stay 200 yards away from her. He's not to communicate with her in person, not through a third party, not through a cell phone, not through any kind of electronic device, and not even on social media. If he violates any of these contact provisions, he could face an aggravated stalking charge, which is a felony charge, and could remain in jail for up to 3 months with no bond. He's not to have any contact with the minor children in question. If he wishes to have joint visitation and custody with the minor children, he will file the appropriate legitimation action in Superior Court, in the correct Superior Court, and obtain a court order establishing visitation of joint custody. No illegal drugs, no alcohol, no weapons, and no firearms. He will report to pretrial once a month, and he cannot afford to get arrested again. Otherwise, he'll be back in jail and he'll need to pay $5,000 to bond out. While he's out on bond, he will complete a 12-week anger management program at his expense, and those anger management classes must begin within 60 days of being released.
Okay, Judge.
Mr. Wyatt, please stay silent. Your Honor, can he just have a 1-day anger awareness class? Having a 12 weeks anger management class is very expensive.
That's why I given him 60 days to get a job and start earning and start paying for them. And the egregious allegations of the warrant justify the bond condition.
But he's presumed to be innocent, Your Honor.
Understood, but the bond conditions for domestic violence cases authorized me to impose these conditions.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It's a tough nut when it's domestic violence. Thank you.
I was trying to tell you that I already.
Mr. Wyatt, Mr. Wyatt, please give me a call back so we can discuss over the phone. Thank you, Your Honor.
What's your number now?
Does he have a question about his bond?
Do you have a?
No. I was letting you know that I already was of seeing someone about the anger management and stuff like that later on this week. That's what I was trying to tell you guys.
If you are enrolled in an anger management program right now,
I am. It's coming up, and I have an appointment like Thursday.
how many classes have you attended?
None at the moment.
Good. So if you start in that program, you need to attend 12 weeks of classes and make sure you report that to pretrial so that they can keep check of it. But it needs to be a qualified anger management program.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Courtroom 2, that completes the add-on calendar. Did you have?
That was it, Judge. The only thing is, position 22 is trying to clarify as far as, is it a good bond or is it through pretrial for position?
Position 22 has a $1,000 surety bond on each count. No further contact with the victim, and his next court date is June 28th.
Thank you, Judge. We're
Thank you.
completed here in courtroom 2.
All right, thank you. We will see you tomorrow. Take care. Okay, attorneys, let's go through the calendar, please. And Ms. Holly, please interrupt if you have any questions, okay? Well, that goes for everyone else. All right.
Okay.
Position 1, Abdullah Harris. Well, let me start on the add-on calendar. That's easier. All right.
Okay.
Add-on calendar, position 1, Fagan is a 3,500 signature bond through pretrial, further notice. Position 2, Foster is a 1,500 surety bond, reset date June 28th. And I understand Ms. Kim will be submitting an evaluation. Did you say an evaluation or no evaluation? No evaluation, okay. Position 3, Wyatt is a 5,000 signature bond through pretrial, and that's further notice as well. Okay, moving on to the regular SAP calendar. Position 1, Abdullah Harris is a 2,500 surety bond, reset date June 28th. Position 2, Allen is a 1,500 surety bond, reset date June 28th. Position.
And Judge, has that no prospect been sent to me? I don't know.
Miss Harmon?
Yes, Your Honor. And Ms. Bridgewater, we haven't sent it out to you yet. I need to talk to Mr. Walker real quick about it, but as soon as I have a conversation with him, I will send it to you. I won't leave.
We'll get it sent out, Your Honor. I'm just going over the language with her.
Okay.
Okay.
It's coming, Holly. It's in the
Okay.
email. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Position 3, Bercier is going to be a 2,000 surety bond, reset date June 28th. Position 4, Caldwell is a 3,000 surety, reset date June 28th. Position 5, Santiago is 2,500 surety bond, reset date June 28th. Position 6, Francisco is a 5,000 surety bond, reset date June 28th. Position 7, Clark is a 1,500 signature bond through pretrial, further notice. Position 8, Dehar is 1,500 surety bond, reset date June 28th. Position 9, Abraham Dominguez, any announcement? Was he released?
Your Honor, that was my case, and it's my understanding that he's medical reset.
Okay, so this will be a medical reset to June 14th, tomorrow at 2 p.m. Dalaka is a 7,500 signature bond for pretrial, further notice. 11, Michael is a $2,000 surety bond, reset date June 28th. Position 12, Katrika Gibbs.
Same announcement, Your Honor.
Medical reset to June 14th at 2 p.m. Position 13, Grissom is a 500 surety bond, reset date June 28th. 14, Joe Jackson.
I showed him as release, Your Honor.
All right.
That's my understanding as well.
All right. Joe Jackson's released and case is further notice for plea and arraignment. Position 15, Johnson is a 3,500 signature bond for pretrial, further notice. Position 16, Katz is a $750 surety bond, reset date June 28th. Position 17, Lester is a $2,000 surety bond, reset date June 28th. 18, Randy Love, $5,000 signature bond through pretrial, further notice. 19 low is a $1,000 surety bond, reset date June 28. Position 20 Myrick is a $4,000 split bond, reset date June 28. Nettles 21 is a 500 signature bond through the jail. 22 Osby is a $2,000 surety bond, reset date June 28. Okay, 23, 24, and 25 are the same individuals, same individual. 23 is a $2,500 signature bond through the jail, reset date June 28. 24 is a $2,500 cash bond only, reset date June 28. 25 is a $2,500 signature bond through the jail, reset date June 28. 26 is a $1,500 surety bond, reset date June 28. 27 Stevens is a $1,000 surety bond, reset date June 28. Position 28 Stoyer is a $3,000 signature bond through the jail. 29 Thompson, LaShawn Thompson. Any announcements?
Yeah, if we could reset that for tomorrow.
All right, so this will be reset to C calendar June 14th at 2 p.m. Do you know if it's a medical reset?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. 30 Melissa Tinch is a 3,000 signature bond through pretrial for the notice. 31 is a 1,500 surety bond, reset date June 28. Position 32 Wilder is a $1,000 surety bond, June 28. And 33 Williams is a 3,500 signature bond through pretrial for the notice. Okay. Good, Holly? All right.
We're good.
All right. I don't think I've had such a long C calendar. Poor Judge.
Oh my gosh, yes. Take care, everybody.
Okay. Okay, everyone. I'm sorry, it's way past 5 o'clock, and I apologize to the jail staff, but we'll get through this. All right, Ms. Bridgewater, send me the bond orders and we'll get.
I will.
Thank
Yes.
you. Bye,
All right.
everyone.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you. Have a great
Thank
one.
you, Mr. McLeod. Thank you.
You're welcome, Ron.